Chapter 2997. After Qin Yun found the mine, he was rather surprised because the heaven-splitting ancient race did not occupy it. This meant that the mine was truly dangerous. Tusher also told Qin Yun that the mine was very likely to give birth to extremely powerful creatures or form a very powerful barrier or all kinds of natural killing formations. Because there was an extremely sufficient amount of energy inside, the creatures inside would definitely protect it well and not let the divine universe goldstones be dug away. The alien creatures and heaven-splitting ancient race must have discovered this mine long ago. However, there was no sign of them here. This meant that they had explored it and knew of the dangers inside. In the end, they had given up. Forget it, I'll go find a small mine. Although Qin Yun turned around and left, he had already marked the mine. He just did not have enough strength now. Once he had enough strength, he would come back again. Qin Yun could now eliminate the large and medium mines. What he found next were all small mines. Exploring mines consumed mental energy. Replenishing mental energy consumed divine universe goldstones. He had used billions of divine universe goldstones to replenish his mental energy. Search when he arrived at a few mines, he could not dig them. I've suffered a great loss, a great loss. Qin Yun's heart was bleeding. He now bypassed the large and medium mines he had marked before and went directly to other areas to find small mines. What made him depressed was that the small mines' earth-chi area was relatively wide, while the large and medium mines' earth-chi area was relatively small, so it was very easy to detect. Root according to the book, the earth-chi that formed the large and medium mines would converge a lot in the later stages. The area covered by the earth-chi was relatively small. First, once one sensed the earth-chi of the large and medium mines, it would be very easy to find the mine. Small, the earth-chi of the mine was very wide. It was mainly used to expand the range to absorb energy and accelerate the transformation into divine universe goldstones. Therefore, the earth-chi area of the small mines was very large. If one sensed the earth-chi at the edge of the small mine's earth-chi area, it would take a lot of time to find the true location of the small mine. Qin after Yun went to those few medium mines. He realized that they were all jointly mined by the various heaven-splitting ancient race. They were truly very united in the Nine-Sun sacred land. Also, only with their great strength could they guarantee a stable mining. Qin Yun began his long journey of searching for mines. After gaining experience, he searched for mines a little faster than before. For example, this time, he found 4 areas with small earth-chi. When Miller entered the red-haired state, he immediately asked Miller to take him to look for earth-chi. After finding them, he did not immediately get them out. Instead, he asked Miller to find the locations of the mines in the 4 areas that he had found and mark them. Generally speaking, it would take Miller about a day to find a mine in an earth-chi area. Previously, Qin Yun had asked her to find one and dig one by himself. This would delay Miller's red hair state. The 4 small mines have relatively few divine universe goldstones. Qin Yun's method of digging out the divine universe goldstones is simple and crude. He directly used the nether sun pearl to absorb them. This would cause a huge commotion. Qin Yun had previously used this move in the medium-sized goldstone mine. The fluctuations it produced would definitely be remembered by the outerverse. If Yun were to use it now and be sensed by the aliens, he would definitely be targeted. Right now, he wasn't too worried about the arrival of outsiders, because the speed at which he collected the divine cosmos goldstones was very fast. After collecting them, he would change locations. After the universe power reached 2,800, the nether sun's devouring power became even stronger. It was still relatively fast to absorb the divine universe goldstones from the small mines into the nether sun pearl. This time, Yun has been here for almost a month. The total amount of divine universe goldstones he obtained from the 4 small mines was only 70 billion. This time, Miller only wanted 10 billion because she had not finished eating the ones she had obtained before, even though she had tried very hard to eat them. Yun could obtain 60 billion, but he had also used up 10 billion to explore the mines, so this time he had earned 50 billion. Adding the 10 billion he had used to defend himself, he had about 60 billion. The Divine Universe goldstones he obtained were all of different sizes. If they were broken, they would be the size of rice grains. Although he did not break them, he could roughly estimate them after covering them with his mental power. Even if he did not use his mental power, Ling Yun-er could estimate them with her ordinary mental power. These tens of billions are enough for me to increase my Divine Universe power by a lot. Qin Yun left the Nine Suns Sacred Land and returned to the Imperial Heaven sect. In this month, many things happened in the Divine Desolate. All of them were caused by the seventh Divine Sunday out. Several powerful races were discovered. As soon as those races were born, they were born on top of a very large golden stone mine. No, just those races, those powerful races from before, their treasure lands had also been strengthened. Divine Universe goldstones had appeared underground. For example, under Humei-er's Heavenly Fox Mountain Range, there was a large mine. There was also a large mine under the Fire Tribulation Mad Race. These golden stone mines were all used by these powerful races to settle down. To these powerful races, these large mines were related to their life and death. To them, if other powers wanted to snatch it, it would definitely lead to a great war. The Myriad Realms Divine Court pulled the strings and gathered the clan emperors of these powerful races together, allowing them to join forces to fight against those evil forces with evil intentions. The Ancient Heaven race also said that they would guarantee that the large minds of those powerful races would not be snatched away. Strong although the clan had a large mine, they were still lagging behind in terms of cultivation, so they would all enter the Heaven-splitting sect to cultivate. The Heaven-splitting sect naturally welcomed them because many of the dozen or so powerful races that had just appeared had bloodline heavenly rune inheritances. That these bloodline heavenly runes were all third-generation bloodline heavenly runes. Therefore, after Qin Yun came out, Yu Yuan and Yu Lifan contacted him and asked if he had helped them awaken. Forget about Yu Lifan. He had come into contact with a few people from the new powerful races and discovered that their bloodline heavenly runes were all abnormally powerful. Of course, this was not awakened by Qin Yun. He had been mining in the Nine Suns Sacred Ground for the past month, and had worked hard to obtain one. Help awakening bloodline heavenly runes was an easy and safe way to earn money. Unfortunately, it was cut off. Qin Yun immediately asked them how many disciples of the new powerful races the Heaven-splitting sect had accepted. The response he received shocked Qin Yun. There were actually over 10,000 of them. After taking a few deep breaths, Yun immediately thought of a possibility. The birth of a new powerful race was most likely related to the primordial Grand Prime. 9. The reason why the Nine-Yang Law Spirit retrieved the primordial Grand Prime's bloodline heavenly rune box might be because the Nine-Yang Law Spirit used the bloodline heavenly rune box to create a new powerful race, resulting in the appearance of a large number of people with bloodline heavenly runes. It has only been a month. How can the Nine-Yang Dharma Spirit create people so fast? Qin Yun is extremely shocked. More than 10,000 people with outstanding bloodline heavenly rune have been created in such a short time. No matter what, this is a good thing. At least when facing the invasion of outsiders, the pressure on you will be greatly reduced. Tai Shi said. No, the pressure will not be reduced. The Nine Suns Sacred Grounds passage is connected to many outerverse. If a few outerverse creatures invade, the pressure will be very great. Qin Yun shook his head. Chapter 2998. There are already many strong races in Divine Desolate. Now that they have appeared one after another, it means that there will be more and more people in Divine Desolate. After these strong races appear, their treasure lands will have a large amount of Divine Universe goldstones, enough for them to grow for a period of time. This is also a good thing for Qin Yun because the more people there are, the more his Easy Mist cigarettes will be sold. Before, Qin Yun asked Ming Yongtian to investigate the market of Easy Mist cigarette. The price is neither high nor low, but the quality is very good and the sales volume is not that high. The ones with the most sales are the cheap and low-quality cigarette. They are mainly controlled by the few heaven-opening ancient clan. Especially the Heavenly Moon ancient clan, they bought the Bright Moon Sex Easy Mist. This is an old brand, so the Heavenly Moon ancient clan made a lot of money. Qin Yun is not afraid of competing with the heaven-opening ancient clan because it is a fair competition. There will not be a situation where they will beat the heaven-opening ancient clan. The heaven-opening ancient clan is overflowing with wealth. They are even able to make a small fortune from selling cigarettes. This made Qin Yun secretly despise them. Qin Yun is now even more determined to lower the price of Easy Mist cigarette. With the quality and price, he will definitely be able to occupy the market very quickly. With the help of the Divine Moon clan in the Four Divine Sons, he can produce a large amount of Easy Mist cigarette. Qin Yun contacted Nangong Shuiru. She has planted a lot of tobacco on her side. Their planting techniques are getting better and better, they can make the tobacco mature very quickly. Even so, Qin Yun is still worried that there is not enough tobacco, so he contacted the Heavenly Fox Empress, Hu Mei-er. Although Hu Mei-er is the Heavenly Fox Clan Empress, she also joined the Heaven Opening sect in the ancient Beast Blood clan's Beast Blood Heavenly sect. Qin Yun's magic mirror has Hu Mei-er. Moreover, she often posts pictures on her personal page. They are always very alluring pictures and Xiao Yuelan is often the first to like them. Through Hu Mei-er's personal page, Qin Yun has a better understanding of her situation. Furthermore, she has been pulled into a group. Imperial Demon Yao and Ling Daixin are also in that group. They often talk about some things. Qin Yun contacted Hu Mei-er and told her about planting tobacco. Hu Mei-er's Heavenly Fox Mountain Range is a very suitable place to plant medicinal plants. Hu Mei-er said that the Heavenly Fox Mountain Range has a lot of empty land. If Qin Yun needs tobacco, she will arrange for people to plant it. Nangong Shuiru and Hu Mei-er are acquainted, so Qin Yun asked Hu Mei-er to contact Nangong Shuiru to get the tobacco seeds. Although Qin Yun could find ores, it was only easier to find ores in the outer regions of the Nine Sun Sacred Land. If he went deeper, it would not be easy, and it would be even more dangerous. Therefore, he had to develop more ways to make money. Qin Yun took out his Divine Universe Gold card and looked at it. The Law Enforcement Realm King, Xian Shazi and Tian Rui, who was pretending to be the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor, had all transferred Divine Universe Gold stones to him. Qin Yun immediately praised them. Go ask Xiao Yan how is her side doing. Qin Yun immediately contacted Yu Yan. Originally, Chu Wuxing was in charge of Moon Season City. However, he had other matters to attend to, so he left Moon Season City to Yu Yan and Tianyu. Yu Yan was still in charge. Little Yan, how's Moon Season City's income this month? Qin Yun asked. Boss, give me a few more days, and I'll transfer you 5 billion. Yu Yan hurriedly replied. What's going on? Did something happen to you? Qin Yun felt that something was amiss when he heard that. Yu Yan stammered and said that she encountered a small problem. Little Yan, if you encounter any problem, just tell me directly. Qin Yun said with smile. I will go to Moon Season City now. Boss, I messed up the matter. I'm sorry. Yu Yan can only honestly explain. Wait until I go to Moon Season City. Qin Yun laughed and said, I knew you encountered some problem. Qin Yun arrived at Moon Season City, went to the City Lord Mansion and arrived at Yu Yan's residence. Yu Yan's curved eyebrows are slightly knitted, she is pouting her rosy cherry lips. Her bright and beautiful eyes are evasive, she does not dare to look at Qin Yun. Yu Yan's body was originally destroyed but later on she made a new one. However, it is incomplete and does not have any feeling. Qin Yun helped her refine her body and made it even more perfect. Only then did she have the feeling of a real human. And now, she has already cultivated her body very well, her body is not weak. Qin Yun sat on a chair and drank tea, looking at the delicate and alluring Moon Season City Lord. Boss, I did not do well, I let you down. Yu Yen is also very obedient. She arrived behind Qin Yun and gently rubbed his shoulder. Little Yen, what problem did you encounter? Did you want to buy something and couldn't help but spend it? Qin Yun said with a smile, I've said it before, you will give me at least 1 billion every month. As for the rest, you can keep it for your own cultivation. If you have more, you can give it to me according to your mood. Yes. Someone came to take it away, it's the guys beside the Great Divine Lord. They directly came to Moon Season City to collect rent and taxes, and they collected it for several months. I originally collected it monthly, but they took it away in advance. Yu Yen sighed. Didn't you tell Tianrui? You should have discussed this matter with Xian Shazi and the others. Qin Yun said with a frown, I won't blame you for such a situation. After all, it has already exceeded the scope of your ability. Yu Yen said in annoyance, but I am the city lord now. I can't let you, the boss, handle everything. I have to have the ability to solve this kind of problem myself, so I plan to think of a way to solve it. Qin Yun stood up and looked at Yu Yen behind him. He rubbed her face with both hands and said with a smile, What's there to be brave about? Forget about you, even Xian Shazi and the others might not be able to handle it. I have to personally take action. Boss, this matter involves the Great Divine Lord. Yu Yen was worried that Qin Yun would not be able to defeat the Great Divine Lord. Don't be afraid, the Great Divine Lord might not be my match right now. Qin Yun gently patted her face and said with a smile, That's right, I'm preparing to sell a large amount of indifferent smoke, and I'm selling it at a low price. We'll talk about this after we get rid of the Great Divine Lord. As he spoke, he took out a cigarette and lit it for Yu Yen. Yu Yen was not blamed by Qin Yun, so she felt much more at ease. She took a deep puff of smoke. Little Yen, you should know who collected the rent and taxes here in advance, right? Qin Yun asked. That guy is the loyal dog of the Great Divine Lord. He is very strong and also very mysterious. Tianrui doesn't know much about him, but I still have information about him. Yu Yen flicked the ash off her cigarette and said, According to the information I gathered, that guy is from the Yang Ancient clan. He was originally the clan emperor of the Yang Ancient clan. Before the return of the Outerverse Heaven-splitting Ancient clan, the clan emperor of the Yang Ancient clan had a high status, but now, it was nothing. Yu Song was also the former clan emperor of the Heavenly Moon Ancient clan. If he had not met Qin Yun, Yu Song would still be in a miserable state. Let's go, bring me there now. See how I'll take care of him. Qin Yun snorted. You dare to steal from me, Qin Yun? You really don't know what's good for you. Clan M. Chapter 2999. Yu Yen called Tian Yu over and asked him to look after Moon Season City for the time being. Then, she and Qin Yun headed to Moon Season City's teleportation array hall. Where is that guy? Qin Yun sat in the carriage and asked Yu Yen. Yu Yen did not say where it was. She only said that she would bring Qin Yun there to take a look. In a very special city, that place is rather special. Yu Yen said, Boss, with your current strength, can you really defeat the Great Divine Lord? Then, according to your intelligence, what is the current strength of the Great Divine Lord? Qin Yun said with a smile, In the past 2 months, my strength has increased by quite a bit, but the Great Divine Lord must have also increased. Yu Yen thought for a while and said, The Great Divine Lord's current cultivation is very mysterious. Tianrui disguised himself as the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor, and although he could deceive the Great Divine Lord, he was unable to grasp the Great Divine Lord's recent movements. The Great Divine King is mainly in the Heavenly Sun sect of the Yang Ancient clan, and from time to time, He will enter the Nine-Sun Holy Land. It is indeed difficult to figure out his cultivation. Qin Yun had previously asked Xian Shazi to pay attention. Xian the Killer was currently in charge of the Heaven Secrets sect, and could mobilize a large number of Heaven Secrets hidden assassins to investigate, but he was still unable to find out the exact situation. This meant that the Great Divine Lord's whereabouts in the past 2 months had been rather secretive. According to the secret agents of the Heaven Secrets sect, the Great Divine Lord had joined a large team in the Yang Ancient clan and often entered the Nine-Sun Holy Land to carry out secret operations. That when this battle team moved, it was very mysterious. Even the Heaven Secrets sect didn't know who the battle team leader was. Yu Yen said, "According to our investigations, it's extremely likely that the Great Divine Lord joined the heaven-splitting ancient race's most secretive team. This kind of team mainly digs for Divine Universe Golden Stones, and the members of the team can also obtain a lot of Divine Universe Golden Stones." Is that so? For the Great Divine Lord to be able to enter this kind of team, then his strength must have reached a certain level. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to join. Qin Liangjing's team, which Yun had encountered before, was such a team. Their overall standard was indeed very high. Great Divine Lord has been very busy recently. He should be busy obtaining Divine Universe Goldstones, Yu Yen said, and his subordinate, the previous emperor of the Yang Ancient clan, Yang Dingyuan, isn't collecting the Divine Universe Goldstone for the Great Divine Lord, but for his own personal gain. Yun sneered and said, "This Yang Ding was originally raising the Great Divine Lord's great banner and collecting Divine Universe Goldstones everywhere, right? This bastard, I'll see how he dies in a moment. Just because he acted on his own, I plan to think of a way to threaten him and make him return that Divine Universe Golden Stone." Yu Yen said, "Boss, if you didn't come back, I might have succeeded." Qin Yun now understood why Yu Yen planned to settle it herself. She also didn't want Qin Yun to work hard. Someone like Yang Dingyuan, if you don't teach him a ruthless lesson, he will come to cause trouble for you again and again in the future, so it's best to get rid of him once and for all, Qin Yun said. Nodding her head, Yu Yen took a puff of her cigarette and smiled. "Where have you been these 2 months, boss? How did he suddenly become so strong?" Although she doesn't know what Qin Yun's current divine cosmos power is, she can feel that Qin Yun has become even stronger than before. "I'm in the Nine-Sun Sacred Ground," Qin Yun said. "There are many Divine Universe Goldstones in the Nine-Sun Sacred Land, but it's very dangerous, especially during this period of time." Yu Yen has never entered the Nine-Sun Sacred Land, but she understands the situation inside. She knows that it is filled with danger. Without sufficient strength, the heaven-opening ancient race won't let anyone enter. "Boss, did you create the 7th Divine Sun or not? The 6th and 7th Divine Sun are bigger than the other." Yu Yen is very curious. "How could it be made by me? If I had the strength to create such a powerful Divine Sun, I would have already crushed a disgusting fellow like the Great Divine Lord to death." Qin Yun shook his head and said, "It was created by the Nine-Sun Law Spirit. If nothing unexpected happens, the 8th and 9th Divine Sun will be even bigger and more terrifying. Nine-Sun Law Spirit is constantly searching for more universes. It is frantically devouring the energy of other universes and gathering them together to cultivate an even more powerful divine Sunday." Yu Yen brought Qin Yun into a large house filled with teleportation formations and arrived at a very large underground secret room. "There is a teleportation formation here. Only the city lord and a few people can enter this teleportation formation." Yu Yen smiled and said, "I'm the city lord now, so I have the authority to enter." "What kind of special city is Yangding Yuan in?" Qin Yun said with a frown. "Does it require a separate teleportation array to reach it?" Yu Yen said, "That city was built by the Heaven-Opening Ancient clan. After many Heaven-Opening Ancient clans jointly built it, they invited some of the wealthier big shots to go. However, they needed to buy a very expensive pass to enter the city. To the city lord of Moon Season City. Because I provide a special passage, I don't need a pass to enter. Does that mean that bigwigs often head to that city from here? Said Qin Yun in astonishment. Well, I was the one who introduced those big shots to them, so I can get a sum of money from them. Yu Yen said, Boss, that city is in an independent space. The supervision inside the city is very strict. If you want to make a move, you must be careful and not be discovered. Got it. Qin Yun nodded. Such as if it was a city built by the heaven-splitting ancient clan, then Qin Yun had to be careful. This was because the heaven-splitting ancient clan had people at the 8th or 9th firmament divine universe realm. Yu Yen opened the teleportation array and teleported to the city's teleportation hall with Qin Yun. Welcome to the ancient garden. After Qin Yun arrived, he could not help but be alarmed when he heard the sweet voice. Ancient garden, that is something he is very familiar with. Dang. In the past, when the 9 Desolate existed, some of the Great Desolate would have ancient gardens and they would all be located within a sun-sacred land. There are also sun souls inside the ancient gardens. Qin Yun has been to a few ancient gardens and obtained sun souls. And these ancient gardens were all built by the 9 Sun Law Spirit. With the past, they should have been built by the law enforcement realm, and now the ancient gardens here were built by the heaven-splitting ancient clan. This means that the heaven-splitting ancient clan is gradually being incorporated by the 9 Sun Law Spirit. Here. Yu Yen softly called out to Qin Yun and handed him a mask. Qin after Yun took the mask and put it on. He followed Yu Yen out of the teleportation array. He discovered that everyone here is wearing a mask. Why are they all wearing masks? Qin Yun asked Yu Yen through voice transmission. He also discovered that it is impossible to use the magic mirror to communicate with each other here. This is the rule of the ancient garden city. I don't know why, but in short, this is the rule of the city. When walking outside, everyone must wear a mask. Yu Yen replied. If you want to enter the ancient garden city, you first have to pay 5 billion divine universe golden stones to obtain a pass. Then, you have to pay another 500 million every month to renew the pass. Qin Yun walked on the street. There are not many people who can afford the high cost of entering the city. Chapter 3000. After entering the city, Qin Yun has many questions. What is the purpose of this ancient garden city? Why would someone spend so many divine universe golden stones to come in? Xiao Yan, what are these people doing in the city? Is it worth it? Qin Yun asked. He does not have a pass, but Yu Yen does. She can bring people in, this is allowed. They were all invited by the heaven-opening ancient clan. As for the specifics, the heaven-opening ancient clan did not say. They only said that those who are invited into the city will obtain great benefits and will not lose out. Yu Yen said, Yang Dingyuan was invited, but he did not have enough divine universe golden stones, so he came to Moon Season City to collect 3 months' rent in advance. Although Qin Yun did not get an answer after he leaves, he will definitely ask Yulifan what exactly this ancient garden city is for. How many divine universe golden stones did Yang Dingyuan collect? Qin Yun asked. About 5 billion divine universe golden stones. Because the bosses in the city all know that he is a favorite of the great divine king, and he is also the former emperor of the Yang ancient clan. They all trust him, so they gave him the divine universe golden stones. Yu Yen sighed and said, It seems like everyone knows that Moon Season City is protected by the great divine king. Qin Yun followed Yu Yen. He discovered that there are no large carriages on the street. Everyone is walking, they can't fly or run. Many of the shops on the streets were closed, and they were all for rent. The ones that were open were all the shops of the Heaven Opening clan, mainly selling pills, weapons, and so on. Qin Yun understood from Yu Yen that Yang Dingyuan needs a large amount of divine universe golden stones. Not only does he need to buy a pass, he also needs to buy a house here. The houses in the ancient garden city are very expensive. A small 3-story building costs more than 1 billion divine universe golden stones. Furthermore, there is a management fee of 1 to 200 million every year. Yu Yen said in a low voice. Yang Dingyuan is from the heaven-opening ancient clan, and he is also the former emperor. He must have obtained some information from the heaven-opening ancient clan, so he moved into the ancient garden city a long time ago. Since Yang Dingyuan is from the heaven-opening ancient clan, he also needs to buy a pass to enter the city? Qin Yun said in shock. If you want to enter the city, you need to buy it. Only a few people don't need it. The reason why I don't need it is because I'm the city lord of Moon Season City. I'm the one who provides the entrance. Yu Yen said, according to my guess, there are only about 20 city lords who don't need a pass. Qin Yun was even more curious about the ancient garden city. It was definitely not simple. Otherwise, Yang Dingyuan would not have spent billions to buy a pass. The other bosses spent billions to buy passes because they wanted to do business with the heaven-splitting ancient clan. After all, the heaven-splitting ancient clan was currently the strongest faction in the divine wilderness. Let's find Yang Dingyuan and ask him. Qin Yun rubbed his fist and said with smile. If he doesn't want to talk, we can use him to practice our skills. Yan's information on Yang Dingyuan was quite good. After all, she was prepared to deal with Yang Dingyuan herself. Xiao Yan, Yang Dingyuan spent all the divine universe golden stones he obtained. He might not be able to get them back. Qin Yun said, do you think his life is worth 10 billion divine universe golden stones? This was also a headache for Yu Yen before, because she had also investigated Yang Dingyuan's divine universe golden rock and used it to buy a pass. Yu Yen shook her head. Let's find him first. Yu Yen brought Qin Yun to a residential area, inside a villa. The environment is very good, the scenery is beautiful, there is also a river. The main gate of the villa was guarded by powerful guards. If you wanted to enter the villa, you had to show a special card. Only those who owned a house in the villa could come and go freely. If other people wanted to enter, they would have to be brought in by someone who owned a house in the villa. Qin Yun pulled Yu Yen to the side and used the invisibility spell to conceal himself with Yu Yen. After turning invisible, they swaggered into the villa. There was no barrier around the villa, as the city was relatively safe. After all, it had been built by the heaven-splitting ancient race. There were patrols of the heaven-splitting ancient race on the street. Qin after Yun and Yu Yen sneaked into the villa. Yu Yen started to look at the house numbers of those small buildings. Yang Ding used to live in the 18th residence. Yu Yen sent voice transmission to Qin Yun and said, it's very easy to find him. It didn't take them long to find the 18th residence. After Qin Yun probed, there was not a single person inside. However, there was a trace of remnant aura. That guy has been gone for a while. Qin Yun brought Yu Yen through the outer wall of the residence and very easily entered. Then they arrived at the 3rd floor. Let's wait for him to come back. Qin Yun sat in an elegant small hall on the 3rd floor, crossed his legs and said. Yu Yen said, according to my information, Yang Dingyuan did not leave the ancient garden city. He is still in the city. I don't know what he is doing. No matter what he is doing, when he comes back, I'll beat him up first. Qin Yun leaned on the chair, took out a few large fruits, and threw 2 to Yu Yen. Just as she finished eating a divine fruit, she heard the sound of the door opening from below. They're back and there are quite a few of them. Qin Yun said with smile, Xiao Yan, what kind of friends does Yang Dingyuan have? This. I'm not too sure. Yu Yen shook her head. Everyone is wearing masks, it's not easy to investigate. Qin Yun put on his mask and said, let's go down. Boss, you must be careful, don't get caught by the heaven-opening ancient race, otherwise it will be troublesome. Yu Yen is very worried. She knows that Qin Yun's ability is very strong, but being targeted by the heaven-opening ancient race is still very troublesome. Got it. Qin Yun immediately went downstairs and arrived at the hall on the first floor. Moreover, he swaggered down. In the hall on the first floor, a few young men are drinking, laughing and talking about something. But now, Qin Yun's sudden appearance has caused them to be extremely shocked. Brother Yang, you still have friends here? A long-faced man said with a smile after a moment of surprise. Yang Dingyuan's expression is very ugly, he angrily rebuked. Who are you people? Why did you trespass into my house? This is the ancient garden city, since you can come in, you should know the rules here. You are Yang Dingyuan, right? Qin Yun looked at the handsome man. He never expected that the former clan emperor of the ancient Yang clan would make himself so handsome. You know me and are even in my house. Who the hell are you? Yang Dingyuan is not afraid at this moment, he is even very angry. Yang Dingyuan's other friends also stood up one after another. They know that the person in front of them is probably here to cause trouble. I am Yu Tao, from the Heavenly Moon ancient race. The long-faced man said. Friend, since you can enter the ancient garden city, you must know the rules here. If you violate them, you will be jointly hunted down by the heaven-opening ancient race. Yang Dingyuan owes me 10 billion divine universe golden stones. In order to enter this city, he fished out my divine universe golden stones. I came to find him to collect the debt. As Qin Yun spoke, he walked towards Yang Dingyuan. His fist is already filled with power. Chapter 3001. Yang Dingyuan looks at Qin Yun with a dumbfounded expression because he has never owed a debt of divine universe goldstones. Just like what Yang Dingyuan and the others had said before, they had to follow the rules in the ancient garden city. Otherwise, they would be punished. Therefore, even if it was Yang Dingyuan and the others, they wouldn't casually make a move before they understood the situation. If they were outside, Yang Dingyuan might have already made his move. What nonsense are you talking about? When did I owe you so many divine universe metal stones? Yang Dingyuan shouted loudly, You broke into my house. If the guards of this villa find out, you will suffer. You used my divine universe metal stone to buy this house. So what if I come in? Yun stood in front of Yang Dingyuan and shouted at him in a domineering manner. Because Qin Yun's aura was very strong, Yang Dingyuan was also somewhat afraid. He could see that Qin Yun was in the third tier of the divine space realm. Yang Dingyuan himself was also at the third tier of the divine space realm, and his friends were also at the same cultivation level. However, when they faced Qin Yun, they felt that they were not as strong as Qin Yun. This friend, since Brother Yang owes you 10 billion divine universe metal stones, then you must be acquainted with Brother Yang, right? Can we take off the mask and talk further? The man from the ancient Heavenly Moon clan, Yu Tao, spoke in a friendly tone. He was also afraid that Qin Yun would suddenly use force. Qin Yun waved at Yu Yen behind him. Yu Yen immediately took off her mask. Yang Dingyuan, do you know me? Yu Yen asked coldly. You are the one from Moon Season City. Yang Dingyuan immediately reacted. He knew that Yu Yen was in charge of Moon Season City, and from his point of view, Yu Yen was sent by Yu Xieji. Yu Xieji was the subordinate of the Great Divine Lord, and he, Yang Dingyuan, was also the subordinate of the Great Divine Lord, so Yu Yen was one level lower than him. Humph, I was wondering who it was. So it's you, little maid. Yang Dingyuan's tone suddenly rose as he sneered. In terms of status, I'm above you. Qin Yun said to Yu Tao and others. Everyone, this is our matter, if you don't want to participate, please leave. Everyone, go to the restaurant and wait for me. After I have settled this small matter, I will look for you to drink. At that time, it will be my treat. Yang Dingyuan laughed and said. Then I'll take my leave first. Yu Tao hurriedly cupped his hands and smiled. The others also began to leave the mansion. Yang Ding originally wanted to deal with this matter in a low-key manner, because the Divine Universe Golden Stone he took from Moon Season City was obtained in the name of the Great Divine Lord, and Moon Season City was Yu Xieji's territory. Moon Xieji's status in the ancient Heavenly Moon Clan was not bad, and Yu Tao was also from the ancient Heavenly Moon Clan. Yang Dingyuan did not want Yu Tao to know that he was working for the Great Divine Lord. Stupid girl, even if I say that you won't dare to tell Yu Xieji about this, you are the one in charge of Moon Season City after all. If you tell that old hag Yu Xieji about this, she will definitely beat you up. Yang Dingyuan laughed out loud. He looked at Qin Yun and said, "So you hired a hired thug to ask for the Divine Universe Goldstone from me? Is this thug your man?" Yen said coldly, "Yang Dingyuan, if you return that Divine Universe Goldstone, I can guarantee that nothing will happen to you. I clearly took away a few billion, but this guy said 10 billion. Is he trying to extort me? What's more, back then, the Great Divine Lord participated in the construction of Moon Season City, so what if I went to collect some Divine Universe Goldstone in his place?" Yang Dingyuan still had a very arrogant look on his face. "You wanted those Divine Universe Goldstone for yourself, right? Buying the pass to enter the city, buying the houses here. This is a large amount of Divine Universe Goldstone," Yu Yen said. "That was borrowed by me from the Great Divine Lord. I remember that I only helped you collect 5 billion in taxes and rent in advance, and this is also something that the Great Divine Lord has the right to take away. Then why does this guy want me to return 10 billion? Yang Dingyuan's face darkened. Does he think I'm easy to bully? As Yang Dingyuan spoke, he looked at Qin Yun in front of him and even reached out to take off his mask. Before Yang Dingyuan's hand could touch Qin Yun's mask, he felt a sharp pain coming from his abdomen. When he looked at his abdomen, he discovered that a palm had penetrated his body. Qin Yun made his move. His palm closed and like a sharp awl, it instantly pierced through Yang Dingyuan's abdomen. Qin Yun slowly pulled his palm out from Yang Dingyuan's abdomen. One could see that his palm was flickering with golden light and flowing with divine universe power. He knew that Qin Yun's palm had been tempered into a divine universe heavenly bone. As long as the divine universe power flowed through his palm, it would make his palm as terrifying as a weapon. "Do you have 10 billion? If not, I'll end your dog life right now," Qin Yun said coldly. You, this is an ancient garden city. You still dare to be so arrogant? You're finished. Yang Dingyuan's face was filled with fear. Qin Wen Yun saw that Yang Dingyuan wanted to shout. He immediately punched him in the face. Boom! With a punch, Qin Yun didn't even use divine universe power. He smashed Yang Dingyuan's face bone, causing Yang Dingyuan's entire face and mouth to become crooked. Yang Dingyuan was knocked to the ground by this punch. Just as he wanted to get up, his cheek was firmly stepped on by Qin Yun. Feeling in response to Yang Dingyuan's attempt to circulate divine universe power, Qin Yun's eyes flashed. He condensed mental universe power and sent it into Yang Dingyuan's head to carry out a mental attack. Yang Dingyuan immediately let out a painful roar. His face was stepped on by Qin Yun, so he couldn't shout even if he wanted to. Yang Dingyuan came from the ancient Yang clan and was the former clan emperor. He wore extremely strong defensive divine armor, but just now his abdomen was pierced by a palm. This made Yang Dingyuan suspect that the person in front of him had an extremely high cultivation. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to beat him up like this. Tell me, do you have the ability to repay me 10 billion? If not, I'll kill you immediately. If you can repay me, then I'll spare your dog life. Of course, if you can't repay me in the future, just wait to suffer. Qin Yun grabbed Yang Dingyuan's throat and lifted him up. Yu Yen knew that Qin Yun would make a move and thought that there would be a big commotion. After all, in her opinion, Qin Yun and Yang Dingyuan were both at the third level of the divine universe realm. No matter how weak Yang Dingyuan was, he would still be able to block a few moves. But once Qin Yun made a move, Yang Dingyuan didn't even have the chance to beg for mercy, let alone fight back. Yang Dingyuan blinked with all his might, indicating that he could repay Qin Yun, otherwise he would definitely be finished. He could have escaped with his soul, but after his soul was attacked just now, he knew that it would be very difficult for his soul to escape. He would definitely be caught. Qin Yun put down Yang Dingyuan. He wasn't afraid that Yang Dingyuan would run away. Yang Dingyuan was thrown to the ground, his entire body trembling. He felt an unprecedented fear. It was said that no one would dare to make a move in the ancient garden city, but now someone had made a move and nothing had happened to him. Please tell me, when will you repay me 10 billion divine universe golden stones? Qin Yun looked coldly at Yang Dingyuan. Chapter 3002. Yang Dingyuan also wants to cry but has no tears. He doesn't have that many divine universe golden stones. He is very puzzled. Why would a man come to cause trouble for him in Moon Season City? In his opinion, it should be Yu Xieji who personally came. What do you mean return it? Quickly speak. Qin Yun shouted in a deep voice. Yang Dingyuan shivered and said in fear, I will return it as soon as possible. Why 10 billion? I only took 5 billion from Moon Season City. My lord, can you make an exception and let me return only 5 billion? 5 billion? Of course. Qin Yun did not finish speaking when Yang Dingyuan immediately thanked him with smile. Many thanks, my lord, I will return you 5 billion as soon as possible. After you return me 5 billion, I will kill you. I will use your dog life to pay for that 5 billion, Qin Yun said coldly. Yang Dingyuan's smile gradually froze. He never expected that Yu Xieji's subordinates would have such a fierce person. He is not afraid of anything and directly found the ancient garden city, and even made a move. Originally, Yang Dingyuan planned to fish up a fortune and then hide in the ancient garden city. With the heaven-splitting ancient race overseeing this place, no one can do anything to him. 10 billion it is. Yang Dingyuan spoke and took out a card. Qin Yun and Yu Yen are very surprised. They thought it was a Divine Universe gold card. Because in their opinion, Yang Dingyuan should not have that many Divine Universe golden stones. And what they did not expect is that after Yang Dingyuan pinched the card, it suddenly released a weak spatial fluctuation. Qin Yun immediately sensed that the card has an SOS function, but Yu Yen did not notice. I will first see if this card has enough. If not, I will find a friend to borrow, Yang Dingyuan said. Qin Yun immediately walked over and slapped the other side of Yang Dingyuan's face. The slap is very heavy, causing Yang Dingyuan's fair and handsome face to be completely destroyed. Yang Dingyuan immediately let out a blood-curdling scream and cried, My lord, why did you hit me? I promised to return you 10 billion Divine Universe golden stones. Yu Yen is also somewhat puzzled. Qin Yun once again stepped on Yang Dingyuan, picked up the golden card and threw it to Yu Yen. She asked, Xiao Yan, take a look at what card this is. Just now I sensed that this card was constantly emitting spatial waves, as if it was communicating through space. This is the ancient garden city's Divine Universe gold card. It has the function of communicating within the city. Yu Yan's expression changed, and she said in a low voice, He must have contacted his friend just now. Yang Dingyuan was shocked. He did not expect that someone could perceive such a weak spatial wave. You actually dare to play this kind of petty trick with me? Qin Yun immediately became infuriated and violently beat up Yang Dingyuan. Yanga's Dingyuan was being beaten, he screamed. Just you wait, I've already informed my friends. They're the descendants of the heaven-splitting ancient clan's elders. You're done for. If you let me go, I'll help you put in a good word. Do you think I'm afraid of them? Yun had already sealed Yang Dingyuan's soul in his head, preventing it from escaping. Then, she continued to beat Yang Dingyuan. Qin Yun is currently very lacking in divine universe golden stones. If he truly killed Yang Dingyuan, he would lose several billion divine universe golden stones. Of course, Qin Yun is also not lenient towards this kind of shameless Yang Dingyuan. He secretly went to Moon Season City to withdraw a few months' worth of income in advance. This caused Qin Yun to become angry as soon as he thought about it. Your friends will be here soon. If you dare to say anything after they arrive, I will immediately send you back to heaven. Qin Yun saw that it is about time. He helped Yang Dingyuan up and placed him on a chair. Yang Dingyuan was beaten until his face was beyond recognition. He was deformed to the point that he no longer looked like a human. And now, his face has been beaten back by Qin Yun. Although it looks very swollen and bruised, at least it still looks like a human. Qin Yun also took out a cigarette and lit it for Yang Dingyuan. Then she stood beside Yang Dingyuan and indifferently said, Yang Dingyuan, you should know what to do next. I just don't want to cause too much trouble. That doesn't mean I'm afraid. If you dare to act recklessly later, just wait and see. Yu Yen immediately put on her mask. She thought that Qin Yun would take Yang Dingyuan away. Very quickly, Yu Tao and others who left earlier hastily rushed back. Moreover, they directly kicked open the door and entered. After they came in, they saw a pig head like Yang Dingyuan. His face is filled with bitterness, but he is also smiling and smoking. You guys came very good. Yang Dingyuan's face is filled with fake smile as he greeted his friends. Yang Dingyuan's friends are not stupid, they just received Yang Dingyuan's call for help. At that time, they were not too sure. They thought that no one would dare to act recklessly inside ancient Era's Garden City. Therefore, they came to confirm the situation. Now that they saw Yang Dingyuan's appearance and those two masked people standing behind him, they more or less understood what is going on. Brother Yang, what did they do? Yu Tao hastily asked. Nothing, just a small problem appeared just now, causing us to have a small dispute. But this is all friendly, we often encountered this kind of thing in the past. Yang Dingyuan said with smile. Yu Tao and others did not fall for this trick. They can all see that Yang Dingyuan is already being controlled. Ancient Era's Garden City was built by the heaven-opening ancient race. The heaven-opening ancient race established strict city rules. You have violated the city rules, so we will immediately contact the city master to send people over. A tall and sturdy man said coldly. While speaking, this man took out a divine space gold card. It is used for communication. However, just as he took it out, Qin Yun extended 2 fingers and pointed. He used heaven-extinguishing 9 fingers, piercing heaven. Qin Yun's 2 fingers casually pointed and released a very strong finger power. In an instant, that man's palm was pierced through along with the divine space gold card. Qin Yun's sudden attack caused everyone present to be greatly shocked. Yu Fei, are you alright? Yu Tao hastily shouted. Yu Fei looked at his palm that has been pierced through. He is both angry and alarmed. The other 3 heaven-opening ancient race youngsters' faces are filled with fear, they don't dare to move. He really did not expect that someone would actually dare to be so brazen and impudent in ancient Era's Garden City, directly attacking heaven-opening ancient race people. At the same time, the hall's door was closed by Qin Yun's mental power. This was originally a matter between me and Yang Dingyuan. If you want to get involved, don't blame me for being impolite. Qin Yun said coldly. If you have any grudges, you can settle it outside ancient Era's Garden City. Yu Tao did not even finish speaking when he was glared at by Qin Yun's cold gaze. Qin Yun snorted. Yang Dingyuan never planned to leave ancient Era's Garden City. He owes me 10 billion divine space gold stones and is hiding here happily. Tell me, what should I do with him? Could it be that ancient Era's Garden City is a refuge city that specializes in sheltering this kind of shameless person? Yu Tao and Yu Fei are all silent. Ancient Era's Garden City is indeed a very good refuge. It can hide from enemies and creditors. Dang, however, if they met an iron-headed creditor, it would be quite troublesome. And right now there is one. Chapter 3003. Yu Tao and Yu Fei both looked at Yang Dingyuan. They had known Yang Dingyuan for many days. Because he was generous and straightforward, they thought he was a good person. But now, he actually owed someone 10 billion divine universe goldstones, and the creditor came looking for him. Although Yu Tao and Yu Fei were from the heaven-splitting ancient clan, they were not from the outerverse. Otherwise, they would not be so carefree here. Their cultivation was at the 3rd level of the divine space realm, but compared to the youths from the outerverse, they were far inferior. Now that the 9-sun Holy Land was becoming more and more dangerous, weak chickens like them would be sent to their deaths if they went in, so they did not need to enter. 10 billion divine universe metal stones was a massive sum to them. The reason they were able to enter this place was mainly because their parents and elders had secretly opened a back door for them. However, Yang Dingyuan did not know about this matter. He thought that Yu Tao and the others had also bought a pass. Brother Yang, do you really owe someone 10 billion divine universe goldstones and do not plan to repay them? This is not good. Yu Tao saw that Qin Yun was not someone to be trifled with, so he did not dare to provoke him. I will definitely pay you back. Let's end this matter here. Yang Dingyuan had seen Qin Yun's methods and knew that if this continued, Yu Tao and the others might be controlled. Yu Fei's palm had been pierced with a light move. If he had the intention, he could have attacked the head or other vital parts and killed Yu Fei in one move. They did not dare to provoke someone with this kind of strength. At this moment, Yu Tao and the others did not mention the city rules of the ancient garden city anymore. Then will you guys pass this matter to the city lord's mansion? Qin Yun looked at Yu Fei and the others and sneered. Even if you pass it, I am not afraid. No matter what, I must take Yang Dingyuan away today. This is your personal grudge, and Yang Dingyuan himself did not say anything. Yu Fei hurriedly said. When his palm was pierced, he knew how terrifying Qin Yun's divine universe power was. If Qin Yun had aimed at his head would definitely have been pierced. Qin Yun put his hand on Yang Dingyuan's shoulder and was about to take him away when he suddenly sensed that many people had arrived outside. Why are there so many people outside? Did you call them? Qin Yun said angrily. It's not me. Sensing Qin Yun's intense killing intent, Yu Fei hurriedly said before looking at Yu Tao and company. The few of them shook their heads desperately, denying that they were the ones who had called them over. Yu Yan said in a low voice, Boss, it's very likely that it's Yang Dingyuan. He probably not only informed his friends, but also the Castellan's mansion. Everyone who enters the city will obtain a Divine Universe Gold card. Through this card, you can transmit messages within the city, and you can also quickly contact the City Lord Manor. Yun Jing grabbed Yang Dingyuan's shoulder. Hearing Yu Yan's words, he tightened his grip on Yang Dingyuan's shoulder. It's me. Boss, I was wrong, don't torture me, I will send them away later. Yang Dingyuan can feel Qin Yun's anger the most. You'd better get rid of them, or else you'll suffer. Qin Yun snorted and swept a glance at Yu Tao and company. He said, You guys have to cooperate too. Yu Tao and company hurriedly nodded in agreement. As for whether they would do as he said, Qin Yun did not know. The door of Yang Dingyuan's mansion was violently kicked open once again. The person who kicked open the door is a man wearing silver-gray armor. After he came in, he asked, Yang Dingyuan, what happened? Why are you urgently asking for help? No, it's just a small dispute, it's already been resolved. Yu Tao smiled at the man and said, I am Yu Tao, Yu Lu Ming is my father. Yu Lu Ming? I don't know him. The man said coldly, and then looked at Yang Dingyuan whose face was bruised and swollen. Yang at this moment, Yang Yuan is being grabbed by the shoulder by Qin Yun. His body is trembling. he suddenly shouted, "Big brother, save me! We are all being threatened by this person. He is very savage and wants to kill me. He was beating and torturing me here before." Yu Fei and Yu Tao's expressions changed. At this moment, they are secretly communicating with each other to see if they should participate in this matter. Qin Yun's eyes only turned cold. His emotions did not fluctuate much because he knew that Yang Dingyuan would not be so honest. Then the man said with sneer, "Interesting, interesting. Yang Dingyuan was captured and beaten up. There are also a few heaven-opening ancient clan disciples who were threatened in the ancient garden city. We don't know anything." Yu Fei can sense that Qin Yun can explode his head with a finger at any time, so he doesn't dare to take the risk. "We also just arrived not long ago. According to what we know, Yang Dingyuan owes people 10 billion divine universe golden stones, then he hid here and didn't plan to come out. Just now Yang Dingyuan said that it was a small dispute between them. As for whether he was beaten up or not, we didn't see it with our own eyes. Yu Tao saw that Yu Fei is terrified and he also became terrified. The other heaven-opening ancient clan disciples' words are more or less the same as Yu Tao and Yu Fei. At this time, it is naturally not related to them. After all, Yang Dingyuan is just their fair-weather friend. Moreover, he is the kind of old scoundrel who doesn't plan to pay back his debts. Everyone is on guard against this kind of old scoundrel. If they did not experience today's matter, they would not have known that Yang Dingyuan is this kind of person. If Yang Dingyuan borrows a sum of divine universe golden stones in the future and doesn't return it, they can do nothing about it. "Please show me your pass," the large man said to Qin Yun. "He is at the 4th level of the divine space realm and his strength is limited." He knows that this matter is not something he can handle. Yu Yen took out her own pass and said, "I am Moon Season City Lord, he came in with me." Moon Season City Lord. Listen. Seeing these 4 words, Yu Fei and the others jumped in fright, especially Yu Tao. Moonji City belongs to Yu Xieji and Yu Xieji's position in the Heavenly Moon Ancient Clan is extremely high. Then this Moon Season City Lord is definitely Yu Xieji's person. And Moon Season City Lord still calls the masked man beside him boss. Then what is the relationship between this boss and Yu Xieji? Yu Xieji's importance to the Heavenly Moon Ancient Clan is something that even the Great Divine King is not very clear about, let alone Yang Dingyuan, the Great Divine King's dog. But the Heavenly Moon Ancient Clan knows that Yu Xieji wants to raise the Divine Moon Little Magic Spirit, so she has a very high position. "The few of you, follow me to the City Lord's mansion. I will hand this matter over to the City Lord to handle, please cooperate," the large man said. The large man is only the captain of the patrol team. When he heard Moon Season City, he knew that this matter is related to Yu Xieji. It is not something he can handle. Qin Yun nodded to Yu Yen and agreed to go to the City Lord's mansion to handle it. Yu Yen is somewhat worried because she knows very well that Yu Xieji has already been killed by Qin Yun. Right now Yu Xieji is pretending. What if Yu Xieji has to appear when the time comes? Chapter 3004. From time to time, Xiao Yuemei will pretend to be Yu Xieji and go to Moon Season City with Xiao Yuelan to consolidate Yu Yan's position in Moon Season City and let people know that she has Yu Xieji's absolute trust. But yes, Yu Yan could not represent Yu Xieji. Qin Yun, on the other hand, was not afraid. He felt that he was in the right and would definitely be fine. Based on his interactions with the elders of the heaven-splitting ancient clan, they were rather reasonable. That this patrol captain took out his Divine Universe Gold card and seemed to be conversing with the City Lord. It was unknown what they were talking about. After the conversation, he asked the patrol team to wait outside and took out their weapons. There were dozens of people in the patrol team. There weren't many people in the ancient garden city. The patrol team was also relatively free, so they could call over so many people. However, Qin Yun is still holding on to Yang Dingyuan's shoulder without letting go. Yang Dingyuan's swollen face was filled with pride. He believed that he would be able to escape this time. He was taking a risk just now. He was betting that Qin Yun wouldn't dare to kill him, so he boldly revealed the matter. As long as it reached the city lord, he would be considered to have passed. If he took this gamble, he would not fall into Qin Yun's hands. Otherwise, he would be forced by Qin Yun to hand over 10 billion Divine Universe Gold Stones. Yang Dingyuan did not have that many Divine Universe Gold Stones in his hands. If he was really forced into a corner by Qin Yun, he could only go to the Great Divine Lord to fish for the Divine Universe Gold Stones. If he was discovered by the Great Divine Lord, the outcome would be dire. Now, Yang Ding originally thought that he had made the right bet and that the city lord would definitely protect him. After all, he was related to the Great Divine Lord, and the Great Divine Lord's status in the Yang ancient clan was not low. The mansion of the city lord was at the edge of the small space of the ancient garden city. It wasn't in the center, but it was a place with an excellent environment. It occupied a large empty area, and the interior was like a large villa. Yang Dingyuan's previous residence was also in the villa, but there were many small buildings in that small villa. City other than the large city lord mansion, there were only a dozen other buildings in the manor where the master mansion was located. After entering, even Yu Tao and the others looked at the scenery inside the villa with envy. The main residence was huge, like a palace. Qin Yun and the others were brought to a large hall. The city lord was a middle-aged man in the 7th tier of the divine space realm. He wore silver-gray armor, the same as the armor worn by the patrol team. What surprised Qin Yun was that beside the middle-aged man was a tall, thin, scholarly elder in a white shirt. That this old man looks very benevolent, he has a smile on his face. He is Yu Li Fan, who Qin Yun is very familiar with. The city lord was very respectful towards Yu Li Fan. Evidently, he was Yu Li Fan's junior. Moon Li Fan's status in the Heavenly Moon Ancient Clan was extremely high. Even in the entire heaven-splitting Ancient Clan, he was a highly respected elder. After all, not only was he in the 8th layer of the divine space realm, he was also an inscription master and had the ability to search for divine space ores. Big shots of this level were all high-level figures in the clan. Even though they were not in the 9th tier of the divine space realm, they were on equal footing with them. Of course, not many people here recognized Yu Li Fan. After all, Yu Li Fan was the low-profile type. Moon young people like Yu Tao and the others have never seen this senior with such a high status. They couldn't even tell how strong this old man was. Of course, they were not blind. With a glance, they could tell that this benevolent-looking old man was a big shot, even more awesome than the city lord. Yang Dingyuan felt even more at ease when he saw this kind of big shot. So as soon as he came in, he cried and shouted, "City lord, please give me justice. I, Yang Dingyuan, was the former emperor of the Yang ancient clan. I once led the Yang ancient clan for many years, but now I am being bullied and humiliated in the ancient garden city. You must give me justice." The former emperor of the Yang ancient clan, this title still has some weight. That was how Yu Tao and the others had gotten to know Yang Dingyuan. I have a basic understanding of the matter. You owe someone 10 billion and were chased here. The city lord smiled, looked at Qin Yun and said, "Fighting is not allowed in the city. Did you attack Yang Dingyuan?" "Not only did he hit me, but he also pierced through Yu Fei's palm. If you don't believe me, look at Yu Fei's palm. There is a hole there. They are all afraid of death and don't dare to say anything." Yang Dingyuan shouted again. Yu Fei and the others were cursing Yang Dingyuan. He actually wanted to drag them into the water. It's only right and proper for one to repay a debt. Qin Yun snorted and said, "Yang Dingyuan owes me 10 billion divine universe metal stones, so he plans to hide in the primordial era's garden city and not leave. Do you want to shelter such a loser?" The city lord smiled and said, We have never said that we will protect old debtors. If you really have evidence to prove that Yang Dingyuan owes you divine universe metal stones, then we will send him out of ancient Garden City and let you deal with him outside. If you encounter such a thing, you should come to us first instead of fighting in private. Everything has to be done according to the rules. Since we have set the city rules that forbid fighting in private in the city, we will also have rules to help you solve your problems. I don't know the rules and you didn't tell me, did you? From what I know, you have never publicly announced such a rule. Qin Yun looked at Yu Yan. He indeed asked Yu Yan about it. Yu Yan had looked into it, but she couldn't find any relevant explanation that could solve this problem. This, our primordial era's Garden City, has just been built, so there are some details that have not been perfected yet. But no matter what, you shouldn't fight in private. The city lord laughed awkwardly. Then we've already fought. Yulifan laughed and said, Aying, I think this matter is your fault. Because according to the primordial era's Garden City's current rules, no matter how you look at it, it seems like you want to protect old debtors. That's why this Yang Dingyuan borrowed a large sum of money and then hid here. Qin Yun said, That's right, if you had stated the city rules earlier and not protected this guy, then they wouldn't have done such a thing. The city lord is startled. He never expected that this senior would actually speak up for others. At first, Yulifan sensed a trace of familiar aura, but he wasn't sure if it was Qin Yun. Only when he heard Qin Yun's voice did he confirm it. Senior Lifan, it's very difficult for me right now. Can you give me some advice? The city lord said to Yulifan with a respectful smile. This is my friend. He has already restrained himself very much, otherwise it would be even more difficult for you. Yulifan said with a mischievous smile. Yulifan's friend? Moontao, Yu Fei and the others are immediately dumbfounded. They have never seen Yulifan before, but they have heard of Senior Lifan's great name, especially Yu Tao. This Heavenly Moon Ancient Clan elder's name is like thunder piercing the ears of the Heavenly Moon Ancient Clan. They now somewhat understand why Yu City Lord called this mysterious person boss. Far the ancient Garden City's city lord and the patrol captain from before are also astonished. This is actually Yulifan's friend. Yang Dingyuan's legs went soft and he collapsed to the ground. My friend is still very easy to talk to. How about this? Let my friend take this old debtor away and then pretend that this matter never happened. Yulifan said with a smile, It's just an old debtor, it won't affect the primordial era's Garden City. Chapter 3005. When Yang Dingyuan heard Yulifan's words, his entire body turned cold. Only now did he realize how much he underestimated Yu Xieji's background. It was not like what the Great Divine Lord had said. The Great Divine Lord obviously knew that Yu Xieji was valued by the ancient Heavenly Moon Clan, but he would never admit it in front of his subordinates. Instead, he constantly belittled Yu Xieji. Therefore, his subordinates also thought that Yu Xieji was nothing special. Of course, Yu Xieji is already finished. Qin Yun is only supporting her banner, nothing more. That's not too good, right? The city lord was still a little hesitant. It could be seen that he was a rather honest person. Yulifan waved his hand at Qin Yun with smile, indicating that Qin Yun can start. That 10 billion, I will return it, I will return it. Yang Dingyuan shouted in fear. He also knew that he would definitely be tortured. Qin Yun grabbed Yang Dingyuan and placed him inside a small cauldron. Just like that, he placed Yulifan inside. Yulifan looked at Qin Yun and said with smile, Little friend, long time no see. I did not expect to meet you again, we should have a good chat. Xiao Yan, wait for me here. Qin Yun said to Yu Yan, then walked towards Yulifan. Yu Yan was secretly happy. Qin Yun knew a big shot of the ancient Heavenly Moon Clan like Yulifan. Even without Yu Xieji's appearance, Moon Season City would still be very stable. The others were even more polite to Yu Yan, especially Yu Tao, Yu Fei, and the others. They even said they would treat Yu Yen to a meal. Qin Yun and Yu Lifan left the city lord mansion, passed through a garden in the villa and arrived at a quiet house. Senior, why are you here? What is this ancient garden city doing? Qin Yun took off his mask and sat on a stone bench in the courtyard. Kid, where have you been all this time? Xiao Qihong has been looking for you, and I have also been waiting for your news. Yu Lifan smiled and said, We all heard that you went to the Nine Sun sacred ground by yourself. It was too dangerous. Aren't I fine now? By the way, why is Senior Xiao looking for me? Asked Qin Yun. Of course I want to ask you about the heavenly talisman of you. I want to see how you're doing and if you've made any progress. Yu Lifan patted Qin Yun's shoulder and said with smile. Old Xiao is so attentive to you, he really values you. Are you in seclusion to study the Yu clan heavenly talisman? No, I am cultivating, Qin Yun said. If you want to master the Yu clan heavenly talisman, how can it be mastered in seclusion? This has to rely on epiphanies. Sometimes it's just a whim and a sudden spark of inspiration or something, and then you'll be able to grasp it quickly. Yu Lifan nodded repeatedly. That's true, if we can learn it in seclusion, then we can definitely learn it. Senior, what's going on with the primordial garden city? Pressed Qin Yun. The Nine Yang Dharma spirit wanted us to build it. This place was also provided by the Nine Yang Dharma spirit. As for why it was built, we do not know for the time being. The Nine Yang Dharma spirit instructed us to select the most capable people from the divine desolate heavens. The main purpose is to filter through the divine universe goldstones. Yu Lifan spread his hands and said, I am in charge of designing the formation. I will be here during this time. Qin Yun knew that it was related to the Nine Yang Dharma spirit. However, he did not expect that even Yu Lifan did not know the use of the ancient garden city. Senior, what's the use of the divine universe crystal flower? Senior Qin Liangzheng told me about the divine universe crystal flower. Qin Yun asked. He has a divine universe crystal flower, now he handed it over to Miller and others to take care of. The divine universe crystal flower can indeed grow after absorbing the divine sun's energy. However, the speed is a bit slower. The divine universe crystal flower can bear a fruit. As for what benefits eating the fruit will bring, we still don't know because we have never eaten it before. Moreover, to grow the divine universe crystal flower until it bears fruit, we need too many divine universe goldstones. Outsiders know what benefits eating the divine universe crystal flower has, so they attach great importance to it. Until now, we still haven't grown any fruit. We don't know how long it will take. Yu Lifan said. Taisher also told Qin Yun before that the divine universe crystal flower can bear fruit, and there is only one. As for what benefits, Taisher also doesn't know. While Qin Yun and Yu Lifan are chatting, Yu Lifan suddenly took out a pearl. His pearl is emitting a very strong spatial fluctuation. It is a spatial communication pearl. Clearly, there is an urgent matter. After Yu Lifan received the message inside, he said in shock, There are outsiders coming. What? Where? Qin Yun said in shock. They are coming to this ancient garden city. Just now, the Nine Yang Law Spirit contacted the various clans of the Heaven Opening Ancient Clan and told us to prepare to welcome the outsiders. Yu Lifan's face is filled with astonishment. He doesn't dare to believe that this is true. They are actually going to welcome the outsiders. Qin Yun suddenly thought of something. The Nine Yang Law Spirit said before that the inside of the 70th Universe Divine Sun will be turned into a special diplomatic venue, allowing many people from the outerverse to communicate. And the Eternal Garden City is located in a special space. No one knows where this space is located, only a teleportation formation is connected to it. Qin Yun immediately thought that the Eternal Garden City is very likely to be inside the 7th Divine Sunday. Yu Lifan also said that the space where the Eternal Garden City is located is provided by the Nine Yang Law Spirit. Senior, don't panic. These outsiders are not those vicious outsiders from the Nine Sun Holy Land. They should be other outsiders. Qin Yun said. There are many in the Outerverse and some of them might even be weaker than me. And the Eternal Garden City is a place where many peaceful universes can communicate. When Yu Li Fan heard this, he frowned and said, Little demon, what you said is quite reasonable. How can you know the function of the Eternal Garden City better than me? You just asked me that. Qin Yun used his hand to brush his hair and said with a laugh, I am the Divine King, of course I know. If there are really outsiders coming, then there might be a passage to the Outerverse here. He also has some doubts in his heart, because the passage should be in the middle of the Nine Sun Holy Land. It is very likely that the Nine Yang Law Spirit connected the forked passage to the seventh Divine Sunday. If that's the case, then it's interesting. Could it be that the Nine Yang Law Spirit wants to unite the other Outerverse to fight against the strongest Outerverse? Yu Li Fan thought that the world had changed, so he was very flustered. Now he finally calmed down. No matter what, this is what the Nine Yang Law Spirit told you to do. Sooner or later, I will tell you the details. Qin Yun is very calm because he already knew. Oh right, Moon Season City belongs to Yu Xieji. As far as I know, you and Yu Xieji have a grudge, but why are you helping Moon Season City Lord now? Moon Season City Lord is Yu Xieji's subordinate, right? Yu Li Fan asked. Yu Xieji and I are secretly cooperating. She handed Moon Season City over to me to manage. We are going to secretly join forces to fight against the great Divine King. I hope that Senior will not spread this matter. Qin Yun said with a smile. Chapter 3006. Yu Li Fan just smiled and nodded. To him, this was a matter between youngsters, and it had nothing to do with him. He definitely wouldn't tell anyone about it. Qin Yun is very at ease with Yu Li Fan. After all, he is not a blabbermouth like Yu Yuan. Yu Li Fan had to attend a meeting to discuss the matter of welcoming the outsiders, so he hurriedly left. As for Qin Yun, he went to find Yu Yen and left the ancient garden city with her to return to Moon Season City. After returning to Moon Season City, Yu Yen was finally relieved. She was worried that Qin Yun would cause trouble in the ancient garden city and cause them to be unable to return. In the dungeon of Moon Season City's City Lord Manor, Yang Dingyuan was tied to a torture device. He was tortured by Qin Yun to the point where he wished he was dead. His willpower had been completely shattered, and all he could do was cry and beg for mercy. Originally it was nothing, but you just had to blabber in front of the patrol captain. Otherwise, I wouldn't have tortured you so much. Qin Yun signaled Yu Yen to come over and help him massage his shoulders. Yang Dingyuan saw Qin Yun complaining that torturing people was very tiring. Qin Yun cried, but there were no tears, only blood. Qin Yun sat on a chair as the beautiful city lord massaged his shoulders. He looked like he was enjoying it very much. Former patriarch of the Yang ancient clan, you can now tell me how you will repay me 10 billion divine universe golden stones. Qin Yun looked at Yang Dingyuan with a beaming smile. Yang Dingyuan naturally recognized that the person torturing him was Qin Yun. Qin Yun was not wearing a mask. He secretly cursed Yu Xieji and Qin Yun for joining forces. He had heard that the law enforcement world king and Qin Yun had joined forces, but he never imagined that Yu Xieji would also join forces with Qin Yun. I know that great divine lord has a divine universe goldstone mine. Yang Dingyuan hurriedly said. He didn't want to be tortured like this. His soul was immortal. Even if his physical body was tortured to death, his soul would continue to be tortured. How many divine universe goldstones are there in that mine? Qin Yun's eyes lit up as he asked again. Yes, there are many. Yang Dingyuan continued, but there are many powerful figures guarding there. He hired the ancient Yang clan to mine it. I heard that he and the ancient Yang clan worked together to develop it. Qin Yun's expression changed as he said coldly, Then tell me, what's the use of this mine? Are you trying to instigate a conflict between me and the Yang ancient clan? I have a way to bring you to the warehouse to get the ores. The ores that have not been processed are all stored in a warehouse. Great Divine Lord will send me to count them, and once there is enough, Great Divine Lord will go collect them. Yang Dingyuan saw Qin Yun's gloomy expression and cried out, Boss Qin, if everything goes smoothly, you can earn at least tens of billions. Yu Yen asked, Does the ancient Yang clan have a share of that warehouse? Yang Dingyuan hurriedly shook his head. No, the Great Divine Lord's warehouse is separate from the ancient Yang clan's warehouse. I'm in charge of the Great Divine Lord's warehouse. If the Divine Universe Golden Rock is lost in the Great Divine Lord's warehouse, it will be my responsibility. Sign a soul contract with me and take me to that warehouse, Qin Yun said. If one didn't have enough strength, it would be very difficult to defend the Divine Universe Gold Stone Mine that was discovered in the Divine Wilderness. It was very normal for the Great Divine Lord and the ancient Yang clan to jointly mine it. If Qin Yun were to snatch that mine, he would definitely clash with the Yang ancient clan, but stealing the Great Divine Lord's warehouse would be fine. Yang Dingyuan and Qin Yun signed a soul contract. He knew very well that he would definitely be taken care of by the Great Divine Lord. However, he could only take one step at a time. If I can really obtain tens of billions of Divine Universe Golden Rock, I'll arrange for you to stay in the ancient Garden City. The Great Divine Lord won't be able to do anything to you, Qin Yun said. Really? The ancient Garden City might not be that safe. Yang Dingyuan was still somewhat worried. That tramp, the Great Divine Lord, dared to mess around in the ancient Garden City. He would definitely be beaten up. How could he be as resourceful as my boss? Yu Yen said somewhat proudly. Yang Dingyuan did not dare to speak. What he was puzzled about was that Yu Yen was clearly not one of Yu Xieji's people since she was on Qin Yun's side. After you rest for a few days, we'll go to that warehouse. Qin Yun also let Yang Dingyuan go. He had originally only planned to let Yang Dingyuan return 10 billion. If Yang Dingyuan could bring him to fish out the Great Divine Lord's tens of billions, he would have made a huge profit. Yang Dingyuan would never forget today's encounter. He finally understood what it meant to live a life worse than death. The fear that Qin Yun brought him was even more intense than the Great Divine Lord's. Boss, there's no need to wait for a few days. I'll be fine after resting for a day. Yang Dingyuan quickly entered a state of mind and said to Qin Yun with a smile. Little Yen, arrange a place for him to rest. Qin Yun said. No need, no need. I'll just rest in this dungeon. Boss, we can set off tomorrow, Yang Dingyuan said, after Qin Yun and Yu Yen left the dungeon. This guy really knows how to behave. Yu Yen said, Boss, do you think the Great Divine Lord would dare to cause trouble in the ancient Garden City? Qin Yun said with a smile, Of course he wouldn't dare. The Great Divine Lord is just a guy who bullies the weak and fears the strong. His magic mirror suddenly vibrated. Yu Yuan had something important to contact him about. Little Qin, there's something important. The Imperial Heaven sect needs to form 3 squads. They will be called the Imperial Heaven Team 1 to 3. The 2nd, 4th and 6th level of the Divine Space Realm will each have a team. I plan to let you join a team, Yu Yuan said. Me? I'm now at the 3rd level of the Divine Space Realm. Qin Yun asked, What do these teams do? Enter the 9-Sun Holy Land? No, they want to enter some ancient garden city to compete. If they win, they will get Divine Universe Golden Stones and pills. Yu Yuan mischievously laughed and said, How about this? I'll arrange for you to join a 4th-level Divine Space Realm team. With your extreme Divine Space power, you should be able to join a 4th-level Divine Space Realm team. How many Divine Universe Golden Stones? Qin Yun is more concerned about this. After his source of wealth was cut off, he went everywhere to earn Divine Universe Golden Stones like crazy. I still don't know. In short, there are a lot of them. All the great heaven-opening sects will participate. Yu Yuan said. This time, the opponent is not only the heaven-opening sects but also friends from very far away. From the outer verse. Qin Yun is suddenly looking forward to exchanging pointers with other outer-verse humans. Alright, I'll join the Imperial Heaven Battle Team. When will we gather? Qin Yun said. I don't have much time in the next 2 days. 3 days later, is that okay? Yu Yuan asked. No problem, I will return to the Imperial Heaven sect in 3 days. Qin Yun believes that there is still time. Just as Qin Yun ended his call with Yu Yuan, Yu Shangyun contacted him and asked, Yun, I've joined the Heavenly Moon Battle Team 1. Have you joined the Imperial Heaven Sect's battle team? I'm in the 4th level of the Divine Space Realm team. It should be the 2nd team, right? Sister Shangyun, if you join the 1st team, then you are in the 6th level of the Divine Space Realm? Qin Yun is very surprised. I am in the 5th level of the Divine Space Realm. I can join the 6th team. Yu Shangyun said. Qin Yun exclaimed, Then you are very powerful. If Yuelon and Yueme come back, they should be in the 2nd team of the Heavenly Shao battle team. I just don't know if they will make it in time. Yu Shangyun said again. Chapter 3007. The latest chapter of the 9 Sun Divine King. All the heaven-opening sects are forming teams, which means that the situation in the 9 Sun Holy Land should be relatively stable. Otherwise, the heaven-opening sects would definitely not do this kind of thing. The teams they are forming are mainly made up of outstanding disciples. There might even be many heaven-opening clan disciples who have returned from the outerverse. Otherwise, the heaven-splitting sect would not have done such a thing for no reason. The battle teams they formed were mainly made up of outstanding disciples, and there might even be many disciples of the ancient heaven-splitting clan who had returned from the outerverse. Yu Shangyun and Grandma Taiyue are very important. Now that she has joined the Heavenly Moon battle team, she might know something. Grandma Taiyue's position is higher than Yu Yuan's, so she must know more than him. Grandma Taiyue's position is higher than Yu Yuan's, so she must know more than him. That depends on how much the heaven-opening ancient clans will give. I only heard from Taiyue Granny that they will secretly gamble, but they won't let outsiders participate. Only the seniors of the heaven-opening ancient clans will participate. How can they secretly come? Qin Yun suddenly felt an itch in his heart. If he could join, he might be able to make a fortune. If the team performs well and wins the competition, they will definitely get a lot of rewards. Yu Shangyun said again. Yun, are you lacking Divine Universe Golden Stones recently? I'm not lacking too much. Things like Divine Universe Golden Stones, the more the better, Qin Yun said with smile. Actually, Qin Yun is not lacking too much right now. However, if he wants to quickly increase his cultivation, he is still lacking. After all, Divine Universe Golden Stones can improve many aspects of his mental power, Divine Universe Heavenly Bone and Divine Universe Power. These can all be quickly improved with Divine Universe Golden Stone. There are still a few days before the battle starts. The competition between the geniuses of the heaven-opening clan will definitely be very intense. It won't be easy, so you should be prepared. Yu Shangyun warned. Got it. Qin Yun said with smile. Sister Shangyun, you should also be prepared. And Yu Shangyun replied softly. Qin Yun put away the magic mirror and pondered over his next plan. Yu Yuan said that they would gather in 3 days and the competition would definitely take a lot of time. He planned to take advantage of this time to continue increasing his Divine Universe power and enter the 4th level of the Divine Universe realm. The 3 battle teams were at the 2nd tier of the Divine Space Realm, the 4th tier of the Divine Space Realm, and the 6th tier of the Divine Space Realm. Qin Yun was currently only at the 3rd level of the Divine Space Realm. If he were to enter a team at the 4th level of the Divine Space Realm, he would be at a disadvantage. He and Yu Yen walked out of the dungeon, took out the divine mirror of Taisher, and talked to Taisher. Qin Yun, you don't need to be in a hurry to increase your divine cosmos power. Taisher suggested, your divine cosmos energy has increased, but your physical body can't keep up. It will limit your eruption. Qin Yun understood the Grand Prime's meaning. He now had 2,800 divine cosmos force, so it wouldn't be a problem for him to reach 10,000 after multiplying it many times. With the eruption of 10,000 units of divine space force, even a 5th-tier divine space realm expert would be severely injured if they were the slightest bit careless. Although Qin Yun was at the 3rd firmament of the divine space realm, his divine space power was already comparable to the 4th firmament of the divine space realm. He used the universe explosion divine art very well, and being able to erupt with 4 times the power was even more extraordinary. However, after he erupted with 10,000 points, he would replenish his divine cosmos force and then erupt with it again. As for how many times he could continue, this was something that no one knew. Qin Yun had never tried it himself, but he knew that his body was unable to withstand too many bursts of extreme power. You can use the Godly King Heavenly Seal to quickly recover your divine cosmos power. This means that you can continuously use divine cosmos power to fight. This is your greatest advantage. Taisher said again, the strongest people you will face are only at the 4th level of the divine space realm. Your current divine cosmos power is enough to deal with them. If you increase it any more, it will overflow. Qin Yun said with a frown, but I still have to fight the great divine king in the future. Your physical body isn't strong enough. If you can't withstand multiple bursts of extreme power, then you won't be able to display your greatest advantage. Prolonged battles are your advantage. Having a strong divine cosmos power is naturally good, but from the looks of it, it is more suitable for you to allocate your resources to cultivating your physical body. Taisher said. Qin Yun thought about it carefully, and it was indeed like this. He could quickly replenish his divine cosmos power and also allow it to erupt several times. This was his greatest advantage. If his physical body couldn't withstand multiple bursts of extreme power, then his advantage would be wasted. No matter how high his divine cosmos power was, his body wouldn't be able to keep up. Does that mean I should first cultivate the divine cosmos heavenly bone? Qin Yun looked at his palms. That's right. I suggest that you cultivate at least one arm of the divine cosmos heavenly bone. This way you can reduce the burden on your body to a certain extent. Then help me calculate how many divine cosmos golden stones this will require. Qin Yun also wanted to try cultivating more divine cosmos heavenly bones. Shaking an arm, not including the palm, is considered a large portion. Awakening the divine cosmos heavenly bone requires 100 billion, and tempering it also requires 100 billion. Taisher said. Qin Yun nearly vomited blood. Even if he went to the great divine king's warehouse and obtained several tens of billions of divine cosmos golden stones, including his own, it would only be around 120 billion. With just a few moves, he would have to spend 200 billion. It could be said that Qin Yun was instantly hollowed out. He didn't even dare to ask how many divine cosmos golden stones were needed to evolve the God King Heavenly Seal. That would definitely be a terrifying number. I calculated that if you borrow another 100 billion, it should be enough. With your connections, it won't be difficult to borrow them. Taisher said again. Wait, cultivating the God King Heavenly Seal consumes 10 billion divine cosmos golden stones a day. Using this 200 billion to cultivate would also take 20 days, right? It's too late. Cultivating divine cosmos power is more practical. Qin Yun dispelled the idea of cultivating the divine cosmos heavenly bone. There's still time. I can help you speed up your cultivation, awakening and tempering the divine cosmos heavenly bone. It won't take too long. You can forcefully speed it up, but it will be more painful for you. Taisher said. When Qin Yun used the God King Heavenly Seal to cultivate, it had always been relatively comfortable. He rarely encountered a situation where he was hovering between life and death. All right, wait until I snatch the great Divine King's warehouse first, Qin Yun said. He knew that Taisher was hinting him to borrow Malur. Malur has more than 100 billion Divine Cosmos golden stones in her hands. Qin Yun doesn't want to borrow it because Malur is a very strange creature. If one day she needed to be independent, she could only rely on that Divine Cosmos golden stone to survive. Find Yu Lifan to borrow. He is an 8th level Divine Cosmos Realm Inscription Master. He can definitely take out 100 billion Divine Cosmos golden stones. Taisher said. I'll give it a try. Qin Yun could only thicken his face and borrow it. He would owe him a favor. Borrowing Divine Cosmos golden stones from Yu Lifan is relatively easy for Qin Yun because they are already very familiar with each other, and they even cooperated before. In the future, Yu Lifan still needs Qin Yun's help to awaken his bloodline heavenly rune. Both of them can be considered as very good partners. One day passed by. Yang Dingyuan indeed recovered very quickly. Now he doesn't look like he was tortured at all. His entire person is very spirited, especially after he changed into a set of golden luxurious clothes. He looks like a suave and handsome young master. Yang Dingyuan came out of the dungeon and saw Qin Yun and Yu Yen waiting for him. Boss, we can set off now. Yang Dingyuan very politely cupped his hands towards Qin Yun. Chapter 3008. A complete copy update, the latest chapter of the Nine Sons Divine King, as soon as possible. Qin Yun nodded at Yu Yen, telling her not to worry. Then, he and Yang Dingyuan went to the teleportation hall. Qin Yun changed his appearance slightly and wore ordinary clothes. He followed behind Yang Dingyuan and entered a teleportation array. After the transmission, they arrived at a relatively deserted small city. Although this small city was deserted, they could sense that the divine cosmos energy here was very rich. Yang Dingyuan took out a large carriage and entered it with Qin Yun. He said, "There is no teleportation formation leading to the mine. The main reason is to prevent people from breaking in." "That mine is protected by a barrier?" asked Qin Yun. "Yes, there were some strange creatures before. The moment the teleportation formation opened the space passage, they charged into the space passage and sneaked into the mine." Yang Dingyuan said, "That's why they closed the teleportation formation. Other than this mine, what other source of income does the Great Divine Lord have?" Qin Yun was currently lacking in Divine Universe golden stones. If he could get them from the Great Divine Lord, it would be pretty good. I'm not too sure myself. Only the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor knows more. After all, the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor is the disciple of the Great Holy King, Yang Dingyuan said. The Sun Moon Tribe Emperor's memory had already been erased by Qin Yun. Now, Tianrui was pretending to be the Sun Moon Tribe Emperor and mingling in the heavenly court. Tianrui had indeed said that the Sun Moon Tribe's Emperor was in charge of many businesses related to the Great Godly Lord, and he was slowly figuring it out. "Boss, when did you contact Yu Xieji?" Yang Dingyuan asked curiously. "When Great Divine King asked Yu Xieji for 100 billion Divine Universe golden stones, Yu Xieji came to find me," Qin Yun said with a smile. "You should know about this, right?" After Yang Dingyuan finished listening, he cursed in a low voice. "This fellow, Great Divine Lord, is really so poor that he's crazy." He also asked the Sun Moon Tribe's Emperor to ask for 50 billion Divine Universe golden stones from me. He gave me 3 months to gather them. "Then, you will head to Moon Season City, scoop up some money, and hide in Ancient Garden City?" said Qin Yun with a chuckle. "Isn't there no other way? Great Divine Lord didn't give me any big benefits at all, but he suddenly asked me for tens of billions. Why? If I don't give them to them, they will torture me and kill me." Yang Dingyuan crossed his arms and said angrily. Indeed, there was practically no one around the Great Divine Lord who did not hate him. Great Divine Lord was indeed too ruthless to his subordinates, which meant that he had never valued his subordinates before, or rather, he treated them like dogs. Yang Dingyuan, after we get rid of the Great Divine Lord's warehouse, we can cooperate. Qin Yun suddenly thought of another way to make money and said with a smile. Yang Dingyuan panicked when he saw Qin Yun's smile. Boss, you want to cooperate with me? What's the point of cooperating with a small character like me? Yang Dingyuan laughed at himself. Go and help me investigate what kind of wealth the Great Divine Lord has. I want to rob him. Qin Yun said, if I get 10 billion from the Great Divine Lord, I will give you 1 billion as compensation. Well, I'll try. Yang Dingyuan's eyes lit up. He did have a way to figure out the Great Divine Lord's path to wealth. Qin Yun smiled. He took out a cigarette and handed it to Yang Dingyuan. He said, that's right. The Great Divine Lord is our enemy. Usually, he's the one who steals others. Now, it's his turn to be robbed. Yang Dingyuan was now very clear about Qin Yun's strength. If it was before, he would have thought that Qin Yun was far inferior to the Great Divine Lord. But from the looks of it, the Great Divine Lord might not be Qin Yun's match. Boss, I often hang out with the Great Divine Lord's subordinate. I heard a rumor about the Great Divine Lord, but I don't know if it's true or not. Yang Dingyuan squinted his eyes as he took a puff of his cigarette and said mysteriously, what rumor? Tell me. Qin Yun said. The Great Divine Lord has a boss. Yang Dingyuan said in a low voice, that boss is very strong. He once suddenly appeared in front of the Great Divine Lord and even scared him to the point that his entire body trembled, and he almost knelt down. Qin Yun suddenly frowned. He had thought that it might be the Nine Yang Law Spirit, but the Nine Yang Law Spirit should not have appeared to threaten the Great Divine Lord. Could it be the creature inside the primordial box of the Great Divine Lord? Is this rumor reliable? Qin Yun asked. It was said by the group of people who followed the Great Divine Lord back then. Many of those people died and only a few are still alive. Those few who are still alive are now hiding and don't dare to come out. They are afraid that the Great Divine Lord will kill them. Yang Dingyuan said, one of them is my friend, the new Great Heaven God Race's clan emperor. After the Ling family withdrew from the Great Heaven God Race, a new clan emperor appeared. That new clan emperor was loyal to the Great Divine Lord. And now, the Great Heaven God Race has indeed declined and the Ling family is gradually rising. In the Heavens God Desolate, it can be considered a somewhat famous family. The Ling family's patriarch was once the clan emperor. Now, there is no news of him in the Imperial Heaven sect. It is said that he was fancied by a certain big shot of the ancient Yu clan and was brought to cultivate. Ling Taiyun is in the Imperial Heaven sect, and he said that he has never seen his father. The people who saw the boss of the Great Divine Lord were all killed by the Great Divine Lord? Qin Yun felt that this matter was rather reliable. There are not many subordinates of the Great Divine Lord that can be trusted. Unless they sign a master-servant contract with the Great Divine Lord, as far as I know, no one is willing. The Great Divine Lord does not trust his own subordinates and was afraid that this matter would be exposed, so he wanted to kill his subordinate. However, in the end, a few of them still escaped. Yang Dingyuan spat out a mouthful of smoke and said, Qin Yun is more concerned about who the boss of the Great Divine Lord is. Although the Great Divine Lord is very arrogant, he knows his own capabilities, especially after he lost the Divine King Heavenly Seal. Recently, the Great Divine Lord has been collecting money everywhere, using all kinds of methods to squeeze his subordinate. Maybe it is to help the boss gather Divine Universe metal stones. That boss is very strong. If not, the Great Divine Lord would not be so scared that he would tremble. Yang Dingyuan said again, Did your friends see what that boss looks like? Qin Yun asked. He said that the boss looks neither human nor demon. He has a tail and a pair of big black cat ears. In other aspects, he is no different from a human, Yang Dingyuan recalled. Qin Yun took a deep breath. He is extremely shocked in his heart and waves are set off. He immediately thought of Miluer. Miluer has a pair of cat ears, but they are white and she also has a tail. In other words, the boss behind the great divine lord is not from the divine desolate land. It might be from Miluer's hometown. Miluer's hometown is extremely lacking in divine universe metal stones. The boss behind the great divine lord might have really let the great divine lord plunder the divine universe metal stones. What worried Qin Yun the most was whether it was the destroyer or not. Miluer said that she had been avoiding the destroyer and was worried that Qin Yun would be implicated. She was afraid that Qin Yun would not be able to defeat the destroyer and be destroyed. Qin Yun never thought that he would come into contact with the mysterious person from Miluer's hometown so soon. He did not know if it was the destroyer that Miluer feared. Chapter 3009. The mysterious boss behind the great divine lord definitely could not be ignored. Qin Yun suddenly felt a strong sense of danger. If it was only facing the great divine lord, he would not feel any pressure. As long as he made preparations step by step and raised his own strength, it would be fine. But now, he knew that the great divine lord was not alone. On the surface, he was relying on the heaven-splitting ancient clan. What he did not expect was that he had also found another mysterious and powerful backer. Boss! Boss! Yang Dingyuan broke Qin Yun's train of thought. When he saw that Qin Yun attached great importance to the mysterious boss, he realized that the rumors about the mysterious boss were true. It's nothing. After we finish robbing that warehouse, you have to quickly find a way to earn divine universe golden stones. We have to cut off his source of wealth as soon as possible, Qin Yun said. I will do my best to do it. Yang Dingyuan nodded. Because Qin Yun had promised to split the profits with him, as long as there was profit, he would naturally work hard. It had to be known that when he was with the great divine lord, the great divine lord would give them alms from time to time like he was giving to a dog. Later on, he would even squeeze them dry. Qin Yun's sense of danger was not only because of Malheur. The main reason was that a mysterious and powerful race had arrived in the divine desolate land. The reason why Malheur's divine universe power was not strong was mainly because she had been treated badly since she was young. If she had been properly nurtured, with her talent, she would definitely have grasped a very powerful divine universe power at a young age. This meant that the living beings in Malheur's hometown might belong to the middle and high-level living beings or one of the middle and high-level living beings. In the past, Qin Yun did not understand the difference between the high and low-level living beings. When he found out that many new powerful races had appeared in the divine desolate land, he gradually understood. The babies of those powerful races that had just appeared possessed a certain amount of divine universe power. Those with good aptitude could even directly become babies of the divine universe realm. A long time ago, when humans were just born, they were pitifully weak. A single virus could kill a large number of humans. And now, as long as a human was born in the divine desolate land, even if it was just a baby, their strength would be extremely powerful. Although they could not compare to those strong races, they were still higher than the humans in the immortal desolate land. Qin Yun was born as a very weak mortal in this life. He had experienced many years in order to reach his current cultivation. The reason why babies were so strong when they were born was mainly because of their environment. The divine desolation of the heavens and the divine sun of the myriad realms could affect the strength of the bloodline in a living being's body. The factors that determined the quality of the lower life forms were also determined by the environment. The boundary that the 9 Yang Dharma spirit wanted to break through was for the living beings born in its territory to be powerful from the very beginning. After entering the Heaven's Divine Wilderness era, Qin Yun had a deep understanding of it. Every time the myriad realms' divine sun appeared, the powerful races that were born would be stronger than before. And this time, the new races were especially powerful. They were born with very powerful bloodline heavenly runes. 9 young Dharma spirits must have found a way to imprint their bloodline heavenly runes. Whether or not the divine wilderness could become a cradle for higher life forms would depend on whether or not the 9 young Dharma spirit could break through the boundary of imprisonment. Once it was broken, the golden age of the divine wilderness great era would arrive. The reason why Qin Yun thought of this is because he believed that Malur's hometown was a world of middle and high-level lifeforms. However, they could not advance any further. The divine universe golden stones became rare and dried up. This should be the most obvious sign of their world's decline. But even so, a starving camel is still bigger than a horse. A place that could nurture middle and high-level lifeforms could still be maintained for a period of time. And during this period of time, those lifeforms might try to find a way out. The Heaven's Divine Wilderness might be their way out. They found this place, and with their formidable strength, once they clashed with the native powers, it would be a war. It seems like the 9 young Dharma spirit is still very concerned about the lifeforms in the Heaven's Divine Wilderness. Otherwise, it would not have taken the risk to open the outerverse passage and absorb the outerverse energy to cultivate a powerful divine Sunday. With a powerful divine sun, it can quickly nurture higher-level lifeforms, even faster than the great heaven-opening clan's disciples. Only like this can it resist the foreign enemies. Qin Yun sighed in his heart. He gradually realized that his vision was greatly limited, causing him to be unable to see further. After all, the 9 young Dharma spirit is the spirit of an extremely large celestial body like the myriad realms' divine Sunday. It can see very far. Even if the Heaven's Divine Wilderness does not have powerful enemies from the outerverse, it still has enemies from this universe. The Heaven's Divine Wilderness can be said to be this universe's unprecedented super cradle. In the future, it will give birth to 9 super powerful divine sons. Even the outerverse may not have any. Once the 9 young Dharma spirit truly cultivates 9 super powerful divine sons, this place will become a paradise for all lifeforms. However, the fighting on this piece of land was bound to be extremely tragic. This God King is not easy. Qin Yun sighed in his heart again. Now it seems that the 9 young Dharma spirit opening a passage in the 9 Sun Holy Land has more disadvantages than advantages. Although sealing the 9 Sun Holy Land requires a large amount of resources, that passage leads to many universes. It can allow the 9 young Dharma spirit to obtain energy from many universes and cultivate even stronger myriad realms' divine sons. This is not a loss for the 9 young Dharma spirit. Qin Yun looked at the 9 young Dharma spirit's actions in a new light. Although it seems very dangerous, that is only for the life forms of the Heaven's Divine Wilderness. It temporarily poses no threat to the 9 young Dharma spirit. Furthermore, the 9 young Dharma spirit has roped in the heaven-splitting ancient clans, divine sun hunters, allowing them to protect the Heaven's Divine Wilderness. This is equivalent to the 9 young Dharma spirit's protection against the enemies from the outer universe, as well as other life forms that covet the Heaven's Divine Wilderness. The heaven-splitting ancient clan wants to break through. They need to break through that taboo and become even stronger. This also requires the 9 young Dharma spirits' protection. The heaven-splitting ancient clan is currently in a very dangerous situation, so they have to unite. The heaven-splitting ancient clan is desperately exaggerating the strength of the outerverse in order to unite the people's hearts. It seems like they are not only targeting the outerverse. Qin Yun took a deep breath. He recalled what Yu Lifan said before. They are looking for some observers. The upper-class people have placed observers in their heaven-splitting ancient clan. It seems like the heaven-splitting ancient clan's upper echelons have always been secretly plotting. They want to break through and become even stronger, which means that they will be consigned to eternal damnation at any time. They will be suppressed by the upper-class people. Qin Yun sat in the carriage, his expression is gloomy. Only now did he realize that the entire heaven's divine wilderness, myriad realms' divine sun, heaven's divine moon and the heaven-splitting ancient clan's life and death are practically tied together. This seems to be the 9 Yang Dharma spirit's intention. It wants everyone to fall into this kind of situation together. Then, everyone will break through in this desperate situation. If they can't break through, everyone will die together. The 9 Yang Dharma spirit is crazy. Qin Yun cursed in his heart. The great divine king is the person chosen by the 9 Yang Dharma spirit. Now, there are powerful races that are not from the heaven's divine wilderness that have come into contact with the great divine king. They have even taken him in. This means that the powerful life forms from the outside world have already gradually infiltrated the heaven's divine wilderness. Chapter 30:10. Qin Yun only needed to hear Yang Dingyuan mention the mysterious boss to know that the situation in the Divine Desolate is far more complicated than he imagined. After all, the Divine Desolate is so big. It is impossible for him to control the situation in the Divine Desolate at all times. Even the 9 Yang Dharma spirit cannot. However, the 9 Yang Dharma spirit can predict the general direction and carry out simple arrangements. It can make more powerful races appear in the Divine Desolate and make the native creatures of the Divine Desolate stronger so that they can protect this land. Boss, why do you think a person like the Great Divine Lord would recognize someone else's boss? How strong is that guy? Yang Dingyuan is very curious. It means that that person is very strong. Furthermore, his conditions are enough for the Great Divine Lord to bow his head. Of course, the most important thing is that he is too strong, so strong that the Great Divine Lord feels despair. Qin Yun said. Yang Dingyuan understood it very well. Just like when he faced Qin Yun, there was only despair. He was so desperate that he did not resist and only wanted to kneel down. That was why he could sit in the carriage and chat with Qin Yun calmly. After being taught by Qin Yun, Yang Dingyuan has grown a lot. Furthermore, he was once the Yang ancient clan emperor. After wandering the cosmos for many years, he has thought of many things. Our heaven-splitting ancient clan's ancestors have been wandering the cosmos, spreading the descendants of divine sons mainly to destroy them. Over the years, they have successfully destroyed many divine sons. Later on, our ancestors felt that they could not increase their strength, so they split into many groups and left this cosmos. Yang Dingyuan said. Now they have returned. Because there is no cosmos, their bloodline is incomplete. Qin Yun said. Their bloodline is incomplete, so they are even more unable to break through that boundary. Yang Dingyuan's eyes widened. He quickly nodded and said, That's right. After returning, although their bloodline is complete, it is sealed by some kind of power. Once we break this seal, then what? Previously, Yu Yuan said that their heaven-splitting ancient clan is considered middle-class people. They are restricted to the middle class and cannot rise. However, Yuli said that their heaven-splitting ancient clan is nothing in the eyes of the upper-class people. Qin Yun secretly guessed that the heaven-splitting ancient clan should still be in the lower class. Destroying divine sons everywhere is considered hard work. The people in the middle were most likely those from Malur's hometown. They could live in their homeland until the resources were exhausted and they were destroyed. For example, the heaven-splitting ancient race didn't have a home. They drifted around the universe, and even though they constantly reproduced, they couldn't break through because of the lack of resources. That was why they treated the divine wilderness as their home. How could the ancient heaven-opening clan, which had no home to return to, be part of the middle class? The ancient people who had found their homes believed that they could advance to the next level, so they wanted to break through to the middle level. This was not a problem in terms of resources. The divine wilderness could provide them with sufficient resources. However, this was a taboo. From the moment they were born, they were branded with the bloodline of the lower-level creatures. If they dared to break through, it was equivalent to breaking the taboo. The more Qin Yun thought about it, the more worried he became. He was still too weak. If the heaven-splitting ancient clan was taken care of ahead of time, the divine wilderness would definitely be implicated. "Boss, we are almost there," Yang Dingyuan said in low voice, breaking Qin Yun's contemplation. Qin Yun returned to his senses and took out the myriad heaven divine saber. He tightly held the saber and sensed the power of the bloodline heavenly rune within it. The myriad heaven divine saber fused with a bloodline heavenly rune box. That bloodline heavenly rune box has a small universe sealed inside. Although the pocket universe was sealed, the energy released by the pocket universe could affect the saber and make it even more sturdy. In battle, as long as the weapon is strong enough, it will have a great advantage. It has been a long time since Qin Yun held the saber with such a heavy heart. He gently caressed the saber's body. This saber has many stories and it has accompanied him for many years. He didn't know how long this saber would be able to fight with him and whether it would be able to retreat unscathed every time they fought. Yang Dingyuan already noticed that after Qin Yun knew that the great divine king had a mysterious boss, his entire person changed. "Boss, is something big going to happen?" The corner of Yang Dingyuan's eyes twitched as he asked in a low voice. "How long has it been since you last went to that warehouse?" Qin Yun is still looking at the saber and asked indifferently. "It's been more than a month," Yang Dingyuan said with a frown. "Boss, are you worried about the great divine king changing people to take care of the warehouse?" Qin Yun shook his head and said, "I'm worried that the owner of that mine is not the great divine king or the Yang ancient clan. If the rumor said that the mysterious boss of the great divine king was someone else, Qin Yun might not believe it. However, if it said that it was the cat-eared people, Qin Yun believed that it was true. The cat-eared people from Malur's hometown were extremely lacking in divine universe golden stone. Now that he had come to the divine desolate land and had even become the boss of the great divine king, it meant that it was extremely likely that the great divine king would tell the cat-eared people about the divine universe golden stone mine. If the location of the divine universe golden stone mine was very secretive, even if they robbed that place, it wouldn't cause any commotion. Impossible, the Yang ancient clan is not that weak. Yang Dingyuan shook his head repeatedly. The Yang ancient clan is not weak, but the enemy is very strong. Furthermore, the main force of the Yang ancient clan is not in that mine and there is no teleportation formation to reach it. If it is robbed by a super strong force, do you think the Yang ancient clan people guarding that mine will be able to defend it? Qin Yun asked. Yang Dingyuan swallowed his saliva and said with a fearful expression, "Boss, are you saying that the great divine king gave away that mine? To that mysterious boss of his?" Qin Yun did not answer and only said, "That's why we have to be careful. We will get off the car now and carefully sneak over." At night, Qin Yun and Yang Dingyuan concealed themselves and carefully flew through a large mountain. Late at night, they arrived near a huge mine pit. Many of the huge mountains in the vicinity of the mine pit seemed to have been uprooted by two roots and then laid flat on the ground. Some of the huge mountains were even shaken and cracked, the earth cracked. With a glance, one could tell that a very intense battle had taken place here, and it had happened not long ago. Yang Dingyuan's scalp already went numb because everything here was different from what he was familiar with. Even the mine pit was much bigger than before. Furthermore, they had encountered an invisible barrier. If they flew another 2 feet forward, they would touch the barrier and it was extremely likely that it would cause a huge commotion. "Boss, where are the Yang ancient clan people?" Yang Dingyuan's voice trembled. "They should all be dead." Qin Yun sighed. This mine was developed by the great divine king and the Yang ancient clan. The young ancient clan people were mainly in charge of mining and defense, and according to the news that Qin Yun had seen in the magic mirror over the past few days, there was no news of a great battle here. This meant that the young ancient clan people in this mine were either killed in a short period of time or were secretly isolated, unable to send out a call for help. Then, what about us? Yang Dingyuan's body was somewhat cold, he was afraid. Wait for me outside. After Qin Yun finished speaking, he took out the divine mirror of primal beginning and shone it on the extremely concealed barrier in front of him. Chapter 30:11. Qin Yun plans to go in and explore by himself. Yang Dingyuan is too weak, bringing him along won't be of much use, so he left him outside to wait. He is still very useful to Qin Yun, so Qin Yun doesn't want him to die. Qin Yun can move a lot more easily by himself, especially when he is hiding. The divine mirror of primal beginning quickly opened an entrance on the barrier. Moreover, it hasn't moved at all. After Yang Dingyuan saw Qin Yun enter, he quietly distanced himself from the barrier and waited for Qin Yun. After Qin Yun entered the barrier, he took out the magic mirror and tried to contact the outside world. However, he discovered that it was completely isolated. Not to mention that he can't contact the outside world through the magic mirror. Even if he used the soul-chasing talisman, there wouldn't be any reaction. Qin Yun, this barrier is very terrifying. If it was really set up in a short period of time, I can't think of any power in the Divine Desolate that could set it up. Even if you and I join hands, it would take at least a few months. Taisher transmitted his voice to Qin Yun. Maybe it's the formation pillars and flags that have been made long ago, or something else. Qin Yun looked around and said, after they arrive, they can quickly set up the formation after placing those things down. It's not this kind of simple and fast formation. If it's really like that, the Yang ancient clan can break it, Taisher said. In order to make it watertight, they definitely won't use that kind of formation. Qin Yun understood that the great formation that enveloped the mine was similar to a naturally formed formation. This kind of formation was set up according to the local environment. Even if they already had the materials to set up the formation, they would need time to adjust the other details if they wanted to fuse with the earth. However, according to the information provided by Yang Dingyuan, this mine should have been seized in a short period of time. It seems like those guys don't want to alarm the heaven-opening ancient race. They want to do it quietly? Why is that? They are powerful, so they shouldn't be cowering like this. They can just openly snatch it. Qin Yun landed half a meter above the ground and slowly flew close to the ground. After becoming invisible, he can use the heavenly eye to not be discovered, and he can see very far. This means that they don't dare to move around in the Divine Desolate with great fanfare. If the Divine Desolate is an environment for low-level life forms, then middle-level and high-level life forms can't come here. If high-level beings were to restrict low-level and mid-level beings from ascending to the next level, then they would have to ensure that the rules weren't broken. When mid-level creatures come here, they can threaten low-level creatures, just like forcing low-level creatures to break through, said Taisher. However, the resources produced in Heavenly God Desolate's environment are definitely comparable to a middle-level life form's environment. Qin Yun believes that high-level life forms will not protect low-level life forms. Maybe it's the 9 Yang Dharma spirit that deliberately created this resource-rich environment to attract mid-level life forms to come and snatch it. Then, it would give the low-level life forms of the Divine Desolate an excuse to break through. Taisher said, if the higher life forms want to maintain order, they will definitely suppress the middle life forms. Then, the aliens will also be annihilated. Qin Yun scratched his head. The 9 Yang Dharma spirit scheme was too grand. It involved many aspects and even involved the mysterious upper echelons. Now go and investigate clearly whether or not the middle-level life forms are moving around. The restrictions on middle-level life forms should be caused by the exhaustion of resources in their environment. They are very lacking in divine universe golden stones. In order to survive, they will definitely rob other middle-level life forms everywhere. Teicher said. The creatures in Heavenly God Desolate are all low-level life forms. Originally, they were even lower level, they didn't even have divine universe realm cultivators. However, as the number of divine sons in the myriad realms continued to increase, the number of divine universe realm creatures also gradually increased. This is the evolution of the environment. Only those weak creatures that reach the divine universe realm can deeply understand this. At the same time, they are also very jealous of those who were born with divine universe realm cultivation. According to Yu Lifan and Yuan, they are currently restricted to the divine universe realm. If they break through the divine universe realm, once they are discovered by high-level life forms, they will definitely be killed. This made Qin Yun think of the destroyer that Maluru mentioned. What kind of existence is the destroyer? Why did they want to destroy Maluru? Qin Yun asked Maluru. Those destroyers don't have cat ears, they are not creatures from her hometown. Could it be that the destroyer is a high-level life form? Only mid-level life forms can have more contact with them? Qin Yun is suddenly somewhat worried. If this is really the case, then the destroyer will definitely be able to find Maluru. Once someone in the heaven-opening ancient clan surpasses the divine universe realm, a powerful guy will appear and kill them. Then how can they find these people who have surpassed the divine universe realm? Qin Yun thought as he flew towards the mine. Before he even got close, he felt an aura rush over. He quickly hovered in the air and secretly urged the power of the nether sun. He began to restrain the aura of his body and began to devour it, allowing himself to completely merge with nature. Not long after, there are large carriages in front of him. There are dozens of large carriages, and they are all very large. They are tens of meters long and over 100 meters wide. They are all specially made. Qin Yun hovered in the air. He can see that the carriages are filled with large and small divine universe golden stones. These are divine universe golden stones that have just been dug out. Moreover, they are very pure and do not need to be refined. Around the carriages, there are many black cat-eared people. Some of them are standing on the divine universe golden stones, and some are flying beside the carriages. There are more than 50 of them. This group of cat-eared people have black hair and black tails. Even their skin is pitch black. Their faces are very wide, their foreheads are protruding, and their eyes are purple. The tail end of this group of cat-eared people is not furry. Instead, it has a very sharp thing that looks like a horn. This kind of cat-eared people is completely different from Maluru. They only have the same cat ears and tail. However, the aura on their bodies is very strong. Their divine universe power is very strong. They are at least at the 7th or 8th level of the divine universe realm. Also, their limbs have divine universe heavenly bones. Teicher said. Qin Yun is secretly horrified. This group of cat-eared people seems to have relatively low status, but their strength is so terrifying. They have not cultivated the soul divine universe. Teicher said again, you don't need to worry about being sensed. If they don't have 200 divine universe power, it will be very difficult for them to discover you. Qin Yun immediately asked Maluru inside the 9 Sun Divine Soul to determine whether or not these black cat-eared people are from her hometown. Maluru learned that Qin Yun has seen these black cat-eared people and said in shock, Big Brother Yun, they are from the royal family, they are the most powerful existence in my hometown. How much do you know about them? Qin Yun asked again. I have very little contact with the outside world since I was a child. But I was told since childhood that if I see black cat-eared people, I must kneel down because they are from the royal family. Maluru also doesn't know much. After all, she was tricked into looking for ores since childhood. Chapter 30:12. Alright, I got it. Qin Yun took a deep breath and finally confirmed that the creatures from Miluo's hometown had come to the Divine Desolate. Big Brother Yun. The destroyer might be coming soon, I'm afraid. Miluo was very worried. Don't worry, Big Brother won't hand you over to them. You've seen the little Ant Queen, she's very powerful. She'll definitely be able to bring us safely away. Qin Yun said with a smile. The destroyer can also enter the dark space like the little Ant Queen. Miluo said again. This made Qin Yun unable to smile. What kind of existence was entering the dark space? Was the destroyer really the killer of higher life forms? Then why did they want to kill Miluo? Was Miluo too heaven-defying? From Qin Yun's point of view, Miluo's ability to find ores was nothing more than very strong. Oh, there was also Miluo's mental force, which could increase 10 times. This was indeed a bit awesome. Don't be afraid, no matter who comes, I won't let them bully Miluo. Qin Yun said, comforting Miluo. Miluo was very fond of this. She believed that Qin Yun was very strong and then continued to happily eat with Mo and the others. Qin Yun continued to follow the dozen or so large carts below. They were transporting the Divine Universe Golden Stone, but he did not know where they were going. This damned Divine Desolate is clearly the Middle Earth, but it is occupied by a group of inferior life forms. They are not worthy of this Middle Earth. Even our homeland back then was far inferior to this Middle Earth. A cat-eared man cursed in a low voice as he conversed with the cat-eared man beside him. The cat-eared man standing on the Divine Universe Golden Stone picked up a piece of Divine Universe Golden Stone and placed it into his mouth to chew. His eyes were filled with resentment. What Middle Earth? Have you ever seen the Middle Earth with so many Divine Universe Golden Stones? This is the best in the Middle Earth, and it is evolving towards the High Earth. Why can't we move openly here? This is clearly what belongs to us. Motherf *Ker, I really want to kill that group of lowly goods. They are not worthy of this top-quality Middle Earth, they are not worthy. Kill them all. Kill them all. A few cat-eared people were talking angrily. At this moment, a person who looked like a leader came over and coldly snorted, Kill them all? If we vent our anger on the High Earth, we will be killed. Boss, is Gao 2 still not going to make a move? The creatures of the Middle Earth will definitely be like us in the future, and will all be of the middle class. The lower class will forever be lower class. There's no way we can surpass them. A soldier was very unconvinced. Apart from us, they are all inferior goods. They had not surpassed the Divine Universe tier, yet they were still treated as inferior goods. Even if they have people who exceed the Divine Universe realm, they will also be finished off by the Destroyer, that leader said indifferently. Why are we mid-tier? Because in our original homeland, when we were born, 1 in 10 would surpass the Divine Universe realm. Look at this land, they are at most in the first or second level of the Divine Universe realm when they are born. They can't even compare to the dogs that are born in our homeland. Meanwhile, when we are born, we are at least in the 6th level of the Divine Universe realm. When Qin Yun heard the leader's words, he was extremely shocked. The moment they were born, they were at least at the 6th level of the Divine Universe realm. Even their dogs were born at the 1st or 2nd level of the Divine Universe realm. The most frightening thing was that among the babies born, 1 in 10 would surpass the Divine Universe realm. In the Divine Desolate of the Heavens, those at the 9th level of the Divine Universe realm were all seniors who had lived for many years. However, in a mid-tier world, the babies born had a possibility of surpassing the 9th level of the Divine Universe realm. With such a comparison, the Divine Desolate of the Heavens really could not be any lower. But this place is clearly the best mid-tier world. As long as those few super-large divine suns are not extinguished, the Divine Universe Golden Stone here won't dry up. Our homeland's 3 super-large divine suns were all made half-dead by those damn divine sun descendants. Who knows, they might have already self-detonated by now. A youth cursed softly. Divine sun descendants were indeed experts at destroying divine suns. Even mid-tier life forms were also helpless against those divine sun descendants. Yeah, after coming here, the space of our storage magic treasures shrunk so much. The space here is much stronger than our original homeland, compressing the space of our storage magic treasures so severely. The space of their storage magic treasures was compressed, so they could only use large carriages to transport the divine universe golden stone. Qin Yun now knew that the destroyer really destroyed those life forms who crossed ranks. But he still did not understand. Milu clearly had not crossed over yet, but was targeted by the destroyer. Just as he guessed, mid-tier life forms were very familiar with the destroyer, which meant that the destroyer was watching these mid-tier life forms even more closely. We came here to obtain the divine universe golden stone, so we should keep a low profile. You even said something about killing them all? Do you really think the destroyer is dead? Boss, just let the divine kings of this world help us dig out the divine universe golden stone. Why do you want us to take action? The leader sneered and said, That's because you don't know how useless that divine king is. He couldn't even take down a mere divine sun hunter, and was even scared to kneel by our king. Boss, we killed so many divine sun hunters, will there be any problems? Will the destroyer find us? The youth who asked trembled all over. It could be seen how terrified they were of the destroyer. Don't worry, nothing will happen. According to the information the king has, the destroyer's main focus is on searching for that little girl. The destroyer has confirmed that the little girl has indeed appeared in this middle-tier world. The leader said. Qin Yun was extremely alarmed. He was sure that the little girl was Milu. He never thought that the destroyer had really come to the divine desolate of the heavens, and even focused on searching for Milu. The little girl really came here? Oh my God! She's going to be rich. With this little girl's ability to find ores, she will definitely be able to find a lot of divine universe golden stone. She won't die from eating. Has the destroyer found her? The leader shook his head and said, According to the king, the destroyer found some clues. The little girl appeared in the 9-sun sacred land and left behind many traces. She found quite a few divine universe golden stones and successfully moved them away. However, with that little girl's ability, it shouldn't be possible. She definitely has someone by her side. Qin Yun immediately felt a chill down his spine. The destroyer had actually found the 9-sun sacred land and even found the aura left behind by Milu. He even guessed that there was someone by Milu's side. Holy sh*t, will the destroyer find this place? Qin Yun began to panic. Boom! At this moment, a loud sound was heard, and the entire ground shook violently. Not good, someone is attacking the array? Could it be the divine sun hunters? Someone shouted in alarm. The leader's face immediately turned ashen as he shouted, Run, it's the destroyer! Qin Yun was completely dumbfounded. He was worried that the destroyer would not come, but he did not expect that it would come immediately. Even such a powerful spirit formation was instantly shattered by Chu Feng's attack. Outside, Yang Dingyuan was completely dumbfounded. Outside the barrier, he could clearly feel how terrifying that power was. It was as if it could destroy the heavens and earth. Chapter 30:13. That powerful barrier's defense was extremely terrifying. Even if the elders of the heaven-splitting ancient clan attacked in full force, they might not be able to break through it in an instant. But there was only one destroyer that had arrived, but with his own strength, he broke through the powerful barrier in an instant. Not the moment the barrier was broken, the power that erupted was like a surging wave that surged mightily. But yes, that power was very strange. It was actually just mental energy, but the aura that erupted seemed to shatter the heavens and rend the earth. "It's the destroyer! Run! Ah, we're dead!" The black cat-eared man was scared out of his wits. His cries of terror seemed to come from a hell of despair. Qin Yun, who was floating in the air, was also trembling in fear. Even though he had forced himself to calm down, he still couldn't help but tremble. It had been a long time since Qin Yun had felt such fear. He wasn't frightened by the cat-eared man's cries of despair, but he was shocked by the extremely terrifying power. Although the power of a universe god's son was extremely terrifying, it was still a colossus, an energy giant in the universe. And the destroyer that had descended looked only the size of a human, but the power in its body was extremely terrifying. The myriad realms' divine sun was so huge, it was only natural for it to erupt with such powerful power. The destroyer wasn't big, but the powerful power in its body made Qin Yun feel suffocated. Qin Yun had the chance to escape from a 9th-tier divine space realm expert, but in front of the destroyer, he didn't have the slightest chance. He was very sure that he had been completely sensed by the destroyer. The destroyer's powerful mental energy had swept through his body several times. Just the destroyer's terrifying mental energy enveloping him made him feel like a divine sun was about to fall on him and destroy him. This was the most terrifying thing about the destroyer. When it killed you, it would make you deeply realize how insignificant you were, and what it meant to be a speck of dust in the universe. Why was the destroyer so powerful? Could it be that there was a super divine sun in their hearts? And that they could use the power of that super divine sun? Also, did that mean that their hearts had energy bodies? That they could fully unleash the power of energy bodies? Is your entire body made of divine universe heavenly bones? No, it absolutely wasn't the divine universe heavenly bone. It was far more formidable. Destroy the power of the destroyer was something Qin Yun could not comprehend at all. It was not the divine cosmos power at all. Of the destroyer's powers, only the psyche powers were familiar to Qin Yun. Everything else was unimaginable to Qin Yun. The destroyer had come and he was alone. With just one move, he had broken through this powerful barrier. Qin Yun did not understand why Malheur would be targeted by the destroyer. Was it necessary for a little girl to be chased across the universe by the destroyer to the divine wilderness? Now, he finally understood why Malheur could escape from the destroyer and come all the way to the divine wilderness. This kind of destroyer was omnipotent. They could enter dark spaces and easily travel through all kinds of powerful spaces. However, they still let Malheur run away. Qin Yun remembered that Malheur said that there was more than one destroyer that came to capture Malheur. The destroyer was already very terrifying. If there were several destroyers, wouldn't they really be able to destroy the world? To be able to send several destroyers to capture Malheur, this could be said to be a very large lineup, but Malheur still managed to escape. At this moment, Qin Yun understood even more about Malheur's fear of the destroyer. He was even more afraid than Malheur. Malheur could escape from the hands of several destroyers, but he, Qin Yun, had no chance to escape at all, not even the slightest chance. As long as the destroyer was willing, a single thought could shatter Qin Yun's body and soul. Destroy the destroyer did not need to make a move at all. Even from a very far place, he could completely destroy Qin Yun with just his psyche power. Qin Yun held the divine mirror of grand beginning in his hand. He frantically shouted for Tai Shi in fear, but Tai Shi was as silent as a dead man. Even Tai Shi was playing dead at this moment. Calm down, I have to calm down. Qin Yun took a deep breath. He began to admire the group of cat-eared people. At this moment they could actually scream in fear and still run. Qin Yun could not move at all. Every cell in his body was in fear. He was so scared that he did not have any desire to live. At night, the moonlight of the heaven's divine moon was very beautiful and very cold. Qin Yun floated in the air, sweating profusely. The destroyer's powerful psyche power enveloped an area of 10,000 miles around the mine like the vault of heaven. The land within 10,000 miles was sinking slightly. It was all sinking after being covered by the destroyer's psyche power. This was caused by the aura produced by the destroyer's psyche power. Just this aura alone was so terrifying. Will the destroyer discover Malheur? What should I do? Previously, Yun had always said that he would protect Malheur. Moreover, he believed that in the god-desolate land, even if he faced a powerful enemy, he would be able to escape unscathed. That was why he boasted that he could completely protect Malheur. However, at this moment, he knew how strong the destroyer was. There was always someone stronger. The ground quietened down. The group of cat-eared people did not run away at this moment. Instead, they stood in place. Height was as if they were locked in place by something. They could not move at all. They shouted with all their might as the divine universe power in their bodies erupted, trying to break free from the power that bound them. Destroyer, why do you want to kill us? What did we do wrong? The leader from before mustered up his courage and shouted with a voice filled with fear. Destroy the destroyer appeared. He looked like a humanoid creature made of mercury. He had facial features, but it was only an outline. This was the destroyer. His body was wrapped in a layer of mercury. This seemed to be his armor. The destroyer was very tall. He was more than 2 meters tall. In an instant, he arrived in front of the leader. First, this is the world of low-level living beings. You shouldn't have come. Second, it doesn't matter if you came. You killed a large number of loyal divine sun hunters. Third, you still want to steal resources that belong to low-level living beings. The destroyer spoke. His voice was cold and emotionless, but it was slightly magnetic. His voice was pleasant to the ears, but it was also very frightening. The divine sun hunters are loyal? In this central plains, they will definitely break through their restrictions. That leader shouted in fear. Currently, no one in the divine sun hunter race dares to break through. Although this world is Middle-earth, its main source of energy is the Outerverse. As long as it is not Middle-earth, which has grown up by absorbing this universe, it is still considered Low-earth. If there are living beings in this Low-earth who cross the boundary, then we will kill them without mercy. After the destroyer finished speaking, 2 rays of light shot out from his eye sockets and entered the leader's body. Only in an instant, the leader's body turned into silver light and dissipated. This group of cat-eared people were all at the 6th or 7th tier of the divine universe realm. However, they were all destroyed by the rays of light shot out from the destroyer's eyes. Chapter 30:14. Qin Yun was dumbfounded as he watched from the sky. Those at the 6th or 7th level of the divine space realm had been killed with their eyes. It was as easy as blowing off dust. The destroyer could kill those at the 6th or 7th level of the divine space realm with just his eyes. Qin Yun was still very afraid because the destroyer was below and Malheur was in his 9-yang divine spirit. Same. At this time, he also wondered which faction these destroyers belonged to and whose orders did they listen to? What kind of existence was it to be able to command this group of destroyers? The faction behind the destroyer was really protecting the environment of the different levels of living beings, forbidding the higher levels of living beings from interfering with the lower levels of living beings. However, it was only in this way that the highest level of living beings could be maintained in a very small number. If the higher level of living beings wanted to maintain their eternal state, they would need to consume a lot of energy. The energy of the universe was limited. If there were more and more high-level living beings, it would definitely not be enough. The universe might even collapse. This was something they could not allow. Only in this way could the few high-level living beings maintain their eternal state. Therefore, they had also set up very strict rules to prohibit living beings from crossing their own level. Once they appeared, they would be killed without mercy. Very Soon, the dozens of 6th or 7th level Divine Space Realm cat-eared people were all killed by the destroyer. After the destroyer was done, he looked up at Qin Yun in the sky. He glanced at Qin Yun and then left, disappearing on the spot. He left. Qin Yun was stunned as he looked at the dozens of huge transport vehicles below. The destroyer did not even glance at the carts of Divine Universe Goldstones. The destroyer's strength was so terrifying that these Divine Universe Goldstones might not even be enough to fill the gaps between the destroyer's teeth. There are at least hundreds of billions of them, and they are all mine? Qin Yun took a deep breath. The destroyer did not discover that Malheur was in his 9-yang divine spirit, and the destroyer did not attack him. I got rich lying down? Qin Yun still found it hard to believe. He floated in the air. Apart from breaking out in a cold sweat and almost peeing his pants, he had obtained this batch of Divine Universe Goldstones without any effort. Of course, he had been scared to death, so he had suffered some losses. Qin Yun was stunned for a while. After confirming that the destroyer would not return, he stored all the Divine Universe Goldstones into the 9-yang Divine Spirit. He did not open the Divine Universe Violet Sun Pearl where Malheur was. Instead, he placed it in another pearl to avoid being detected by the destroyer. That's too easy. Qin Yun frantically waved the divine mirror of Taisher and shouted for his brother Taisher. Thane, on the other hand, old brother Taisher was like a dead dog, not reacting at all. Even brother Taisher was frightened? The destroyers are too terrifying, and there are many of them in the God-desolate heavens. We have to be careful in the future. When Yun thought of the destroyer's terrifying power, he still felt a lingering fear. At the same time, it made his heart surge. In the future, he might be able to grasp that kind of great power. He had Taisher, his heart had an energy body, and the 9-yang divine spirit had cultivated 9 super-divine sons. Thane, he was also extremely worried. This was because once he touched the peak of the divine space realm, there would probably be destroyers targeting him. After breaking through, he would definitely be targeted by the destroyer. Is the destroyer only in this universe? I wonder if there are any in the outerverse. Can the destroyer go to the ancient desolate? Yun's imagination ran wild. Suddenly, he thought of the ancient desolation. The 9-yang Dharma spirit had said that the ancient desolation was a testing ground. It tested whether the living beings there could surpass the level taboo, and whether or not there would be destroyers after they did so. Qin Yun took out the Divine King Heavenly Seal and shouted, 9-yang Law Spirit, 9-yang Law Spirit. Quickly respond to me, I've met the destroyer. I'm going to die, you bastard, hurry up and answer me. If I die, who will help you deal with those divine sun descendants? He shouted for a long time, but the 9-yang Law Spirit did not respond to him at all. Alright, I've gained a lot from this trip. Qin Yun immediately flew towards Yang Dingyuan's side. Yang Dingyuan was just outside and he was still in a daze. Only when Qin Yun slapped the back of his head did he come back to his senses. Qin Yun frowned. He smelled the stench of urine. Yang Dingyuan was actually scared to the point of peeing. He didn't laugh at Yang Dingyuan because even he himself had almost pissed his pants just now. The destroyer was too terrifying. Boss, what just happened? Yang Dingyuan looked at Qin Yun in fear. Of course, he did not know about the destroyer, nor did he know about the cat-eared man. He only felt that it was Qin Yun's doing. If there was really a powerful enemy, how could Qin Yun come out unscathed? Nothing happened, I have obtained the Divine Universe Golden Stone. Think of a way to inform the ancient Yang family that this mine was betrayed by the great Divine Lord, and everyone in the mine was killed. They were killed by a type of cat-eared people. Qin Yun said, the group of cat-eared people are dead but the mastermind is not dead. Yun finally understood why the king of the cat-eared people hadn't come to retrieve the Divine Universe Metal Stone, but had instead sent a bunch of underlings to retrieve it. It was because he was afraid of encountering the destroyer. Namely, even if that king encountered the destroyer, he would probably die in 2 or 3 blows. That's right, this matter must be reported to the elders of the Yang ancient clan in secret. Qin Yun warned again. Yang Ding Yuan frantically nodded. Whatever Qin Yun says now, he will treat it as a decree. Because in his opinion, that terrifying power just now was unleashed by Qin Yun. Just how powerful was the divine king of the divine desolate land? At this moment, Yang Dingyuan looked at Qin Yun as if he was looking at a divine king. In his eyes, a true divine king should possess that kind of terrifying power just now, not a tramp like the great divine lord. Boss is awesome! Yang Dingyuan shouted in his heart. Qin Yun hurriedly returned to the Imperial Heaven sect. He only wanted to sleep for 7 days and 7 nights and crazily entangle himself with Ling Yun. He wanted to completely forget the power of the destroyer. But he couldn't do it now because he still had to join the Imperial Heaven Squad and go to the ancient Garden City to fight. At this point, he no longer dared to question the 9 Yang Law Spirit. 9 Although the Yang Law Spirit didn't care about the living beings of the divine desolate land, there was definitely a way to allow the living beings of the divine desolate land to surpass their level. If he wanted to become stronger and possess the power of the destroyer, it was necessary to surpass his level. The divine desolate land had a large amount of resources, so it wasn't difficult to cross levels. The difficult part was how to not be killed by the destroyer after breaking through. Qin Yun still let Ling Yun come out and properly consume some energy with this charming fairy, temporarily suppressing that fear. Spirit Yun could feel that Qin Yun was somewhat different, but she didn't ask much. She only giggled and said some nonsense to Qin Yun. After she was done with Qin Yun, she returned to the 9 Yang Divine Spirit. At this time, Brother Tai Shi, who was pretending to be dead, finally came back to life. You scared me to death. After Tai Shi came back to life, this sentence entered Qin Yun's mind. Chapter 30:15. Qin Yun couldn't sense Tai Shi's existence earlier and thought that he was scared to death. Now that he heard Tai Shi's voice in his mind, he immediately felt a lot more at ease. Old brother Tai Shi, you scared me to death. I was really worried that you were finished. Qin Yun said with a smile. It's good that you're fine, it's good that you're fine. It was a false alarm. Tai Shi said, Qin Yun, the destroyer is too terrifying. I was worried that I would be sensed, so I went into seclusion. Didn't the 9 Yang Law Spirits say that there is a high chance that someone is monitoring the connection between you and him? Could it be that the destroyer is monitoring me? The 9 Yang Law Spirit doesn't want them to discover me? Qin Yun is alarmed. It should be. Maybe when you communicate with the 9 Yang Law Spirit, the destroyer will hear it. You are too important to the 9 Yang Law Spirit, really very important, so the 9 Yang Law Spirit should be protecting you. Tai Shi said. Old brother Tai Shi, you are only sure now. Why do you suddenly know that the 9 Yang Law Spirit is protecting me? Also, if you know about the destroyer, why didn't you tell me earlier? Qin Yun also has many questions in his heart. Tai Shi seems to be very afraid of the destroyer, so the moment the destroyer appeared, he decisively went into seclusion. This is also an instinctive reaction to protect himself. It was because I met the destroyer that I understood many things. I know about the destroyer, but in my memories, that kind of existence is not called the destroyer. They have another name, Slaughterer. I never expected that they would change their name to destroyer. Tai Shi said. Slaughterer? It sounds full of killing intent, and it is mainly targeted at living beings. And the destroyer is not only targeted at living beings, it can be said to target everything. The name destroyer is not less domineering, but it lacks that much killing intent. Qin Yun said. Yes, that's why I didn't connect the two, but I have some suspicions. Furthermore, in my impression, Slaughter's strength is not very terrifying, and the destroyer that appeared before is much stronger than Slaughterer. I can be sure that Slaughterer was the destroyer back then, and now, he has become even stronger, Taisher said. Although this Taisher was created by Qin Yun, he can recover the memories of the primordial Taisher. Back then, just who had sealed the primordial Grand Prime and the miniature universe within the bloodline heavenly pattern box? And why was it still floating in the universe after being sealed? Qin Yun suspected that the bloodline heavenly pattern box was sealed by the faction behind the destroyer. The bloodline heavenly pattern box could bestow powerful bloodline heavenly patterns to living beings, allowing them to evolve and surpass the limits of their cultivation. It could be said that the bloodline heavenly pattern boxes had spent many years creating life forms that could transcend realms. The elders of the heaven-splitting ancient clan should be able to break through to the 9th tier of the divine space realm. This was the power bestowed by the heavenly patterns of their bloodline. Now, the 9-yang Dharma spirit was using the primordial Grand Prime bloodline heavenly pattern box to create a new group of powerful clans. If the 9-yang Dharma's psionic energy was continuously optimized and released the bloodline power of the bloodline heavenly pattern box, coupled with the powerful myriad realms divine sun, the powerful clans that would be born in the divine wilderness in the future might even surpass the 9th level of the divine space realm. Of course, the destroyer would definitely appear then. As long as they could resist the destroyer and buy more time for the 9-yang law spirit, then the divine wasteland would be able to continuously give birth to a large number of powerful races, and they would be able to fight against that group of beings of that level. That was the case in an ideal world, but it was definitely not the case in reality. The destroyer would definitely descend upon the divine wilderness and start a massacre. How could they stop the destroyer? Ancient desolation? Qin Yun suddenly took a deep breath. The 9-yang law spirit had tried it before. The ancient desolation was a testing ground. The 9-yang law spirit might be able to nurture powerful humans that transcend realms in the ancient desolation. The ancient desolation was very special. It was located in a spatial crack. This crack happened to be between two powerful universes, so it could not be sensed by other universes. However, the energy of the myriad realms divine sun and the divine moon of the heavens could descend upon the ancient desolation. If a large number of powerful races that transcend realms appeared in the ancient desolation, and there was a passage that could descend upon the divine wilderness, they would be able to resist the destroyer, giving the divine wilderness space and time to grow. The more Qin Yun thought about it, the more he felt shaken to his core. If the 9-yang law spirit really wanted to fight against a powerful faction, it might be the most powerful existence in the universe. Qin Yun, don't forget that you are very important to the 9-yang law spirit. The descendants of the divine sun in the myriad realms divine sun are a great hidden danger. Other than the 4 divine suns, it is extremely likely that the descendants of the divine sun will invade the other myriad realms divine suns. Qin Yun nodded and said, I understand. Only after the 9 myriad realms divine suns appear will the 9-yang law spirit make a bigger move. I'm afraid that when the time comes, the heaven-splitting ancient race will yield, or the descendants of the divine sun in the divine sun will explode. Taisher continued, there's another possibility. If it really reaches that stage, the divine wilderness will be able to give birth to beings that transcend realms. If they want to suppress the divine wilderness, they don't need too many destroyers. As long as they allow other middle-level life forms that have lost their homes to enter the divine wilderness, they can cause great destruction to the divine wilderness. Qin Yun's heart suddenly trembled. Could it be that the cat-eared person's actions in the divine wilderness were a probe? If the destroyer appeared and killed the middle-level life forms that were active in the divine wilderness, it meant that the time was not right. The divine wilderness was still a piece of meat that could not be eaten. The divine wilderness is a piece of meat. Qin Yun took a deep breath and couldn't help but feel his hair stand on end. In the universe outside the divine wilderness, who knows how many powerful middle-level life forms are eyeing it covetously? They haven't appeared because they are afraid of the destroyer. There might be quite a few who have come, but they don't dare to be high-profile, or they were secretly eliminated by the destroyer. Taisher said, in the eyes of middle-level life forms, the divine wilderness is like an ant nest filled with treasures. You, the living beings of the divine wilderness, are ant. The divine wilderness was truly filled with danger. The Nine-Yang Law Spirit must be very clear that opening up multiple outerverse was not only to obtain energy from the outerverse, but also to obtain help from other powerful outer space life forms to suppress the destroyer and other middle-level life forms. Qin Yun was in the Imperial Heaven Sect, in his residence, hiding in a secret room. He was still unable to calm down and cultivate. The greatest threat to the divine wilderness was not only the Nine-Sun Holy Land. If the divine wilderness did not rise up and did not break through, there would not be such a great crisis. But was this possible? There was no power that could stop the Nine-Yang Law Spirit's will. The Nine-Yang Law Spirit had long since decided to break through layer upon layer of restrictions and create an unprecedented civilization. Qin Yun finally understood why the Nine-Yang Law Spirit said that he did not care much about the living beings of the divine wilderness, because once that time came, the living beings of the divine wilderness would be like weeds and would be harvested by powerful life forms from all sides. The Nine-Yang Law Spirit would resist the suppression, and the living beings of the divine wilderness that surpassed their level would also be harvested by the destroyer. Chapter 30:16. Qin Yun's mind was in a mess. If he had not encountered the destroyer, he might not have felt such fear. In a sense, the Nine-Yang Dharma Spirit wanted to rebel. If the rebellion failed or during the rebellion process, they would have to pay a huge price. The Nine-Yang Dharma Spirit was not afraid because it was a spirit body without flesh and blood. In the Nine-Yang Dharma Spirit's consciousness, there was no such thing as death or fear. There were only thoughts of resistance, rebellion, becoming stronger and breaking through. The Nine-Yang Dharma Spirit is leading us to rebel. Won't Yuelan and the other Nine-Yang Divine Maidens become the destroyer's primary targets? Will the ancient desolate experiment succeed? When will the destroyer come? When will the divine desolate change? Although Qin Yun was a god king, he could not see the current situation clearly because he was in the chess game. He was only a chess piece. The reason why he could sense the entire situation was mainly because there was an outsider like Taisher who could help him analyze the situation. Become stronger. The seventh divine sun has already appeared. Now we are only missing the 8th and 9th divine Sunday. The day of the change should be the day of the 9th divine sun's birth. We can only see the tip of the iceberg in the overall situation. There is much more that we have no way of knowing. Taisher said, before that, we should become as strong as we can. Qin Yun quickly thought and took out the magic mirror. He quickly contacted the Ling family and told them to prepare to retreat from the divine desolate. Following that, he contacted many friends. As long as their foundations were still above the divine desolate, he reminded them to escape to the divine moon and 4 divine suns. The 7th divine sun would appear soon and the 8th divine sun should not be far away. The Nine-Yang Dharma Spirit was playing a game with the universe and might even obtain the support of the outerverse. Therefore, the formation of the myriad realms' divine suns was very likely to be very fast. Whether it was the divine moon or the myriad realms' divine sun, they were all extremely powerful celestial bodies. The power they erupted with was extremely powerful, far from what ordinary living beings could match. There was still a chance of survival if one hid in such a powerful celestial body. The Nine-Yang Dharma Spirit constantly created strong races, but it definitely would not tell them that a crisis would befall them. When the time came, the strong races would instinctively resist. This meant that a large number of the strong races created by the 9-yang Dharma spirit would die. However, the 9-yang law spirit didn't care at all, because after a strong race perished, it could create another one. As for the heaven-splitting ancient clan, Qin Yun did not inform them because the heaven-splitting ancient clan definitely knew more. After all, the heaven-splitting ancient clan was a very important chess piece in the overall situation. The 9-yang Dharma spirit would definitely frequently communicate with the heaven-splitting ancient clan's upper echelons. Bang bang bang. Suddenly, someone knocked on the door and the sound was not soft. Qin Yun frowned. It was obvious that there was something urgent. In the secret chamber, Qin Yun released the heavenly eye avatar and saw Xiao Yuelon enter the hall of his small building. Xiao Yuelon has a high ponytail and is wearing a tight black outfit, outlining her slender and elastic legs. Her incomparably beautiful face seems to have become even more beautiful, but it is filled with seriousness and coldness. Her eyes are filled with killing intent. Qin Yun, who was in the secret chamber, saw Xiao Yuelon through the heavenly eye avatar. He was completely stunned. He even suspected if this was his wife. Xiao Yuelon has become even more beautiful and alluring than before. Furthermore, her body has also changed quite a bit. First of all, she is much taller, her legs have become longer and her body has become even more curvaceous. In short, her body has become extremely fiery hot. Qin Yun immediately came out of the secret chamber. Little husband. After Xiao Yuelon saw Qin Yun, her incomparably beautiful ice-cold face suddenly softened. Her eyes, which were originally filled with killing intent, are now as gentle as water. She immediately threw herself into Qin Yun's embrace and kissed him. She pushed Qin Yun and kissed him for a long time. Qin Yun did not even have time to react before he was passionately kissed by his wife. His hands also felt the beautiful change in his wife's body. What's going on? After the kiss, Qin Yun impatiently asked. Because something is very wrong with Xiao Yuelon. Not only has she changed so much, she didn't even need the magic mirror to contact him. She directly came here to find him. Xiao Yuelon said with a solemn expression, "The 9-yang law spirit told me to tell you to prepare for the worst. What about the ancient garden city? Aren't we going to assemble a battle team or something?" Qin Yun hurriedly asked. "The battle team is very important. Don't use the magic mirror again, it's being monitored. Think of a way to secretly inform Brotherin, let him close the magic mirror's formation base, and withdraw his strange space ancient city into the 4 divine suns." Xiao Yuelon said again. "What?" Qin Yun immediately took out the magic mirror and said, "Who's monitoring?" "I don't know, this is what the 9-yang law spirit told me to tell you." Xiao Yuelon took out the magic mirror and said again, "The 9-yang law spirit told me that there is a special kind of creature that can collect all the content transmitted through the magic mirror, then analyze it and filter out the content they need." Qin Yun said with a frown, "Don't tell me I can't even use the magic mirror one last time to inform Brotherin." "You can, but once they find out, Brotherin and the others might be in trouble because their spatial origin stones have been parasitized," Xiao Yuelon said. Qin Yun fiercely sucked in a mouthful of cold air. "This is a big matter. Who did it? The destroyer?" It is not difficult for Qin Yun to immediately inform An Wukong. He and An Wukong have a special way of contacting each other. It is to use an encrypted method to communicate. For example, he can send a large paragraph of text to An Wukong. This paragraph of text might be a description of some story or something. After An Wukong saw the story Qin Yun sent him, he extracted the text from the story according to the password he agreed on with Qin Yun, thus forming the secret report sent by Qin Yun. If someone was monitoring, they would only get a large piece of the story, this way it would not be noticed. This kind of secret report was agreed on by Qin Yun and An Wukong. Soon after, Qin Yun urgently sent the secret report to An Wukong. Half an hour later, all the magic mirrors were cut off and all the alien race people smoothly entered the four divine suns. The great change of divine desolate came faster than Qin Yun expected. He originally thought that it would only come when the ninth divine sun appeared. And now it is actually coming. Yuelon, what is your current cultivation? Qin Yun asked. 6th level divine universe realm. I refined many divine universe heavenly bones, so my body has changed a lot. The battle team is very important. Wait until you go to the ancient garden, you will know. I want to return to the Shao heavenly sect now. Where is Yueme? Qin Yun hastily asked. She is in the Shao heavenly sect. She is bitterly cultivating the battle god technique. Xiao Yuelon's clear and beautiful eyes are filled with deep worry. She said to Qin Yun, Xiao Yun, no matter what happens, I will be able to get through it. Of course, it has been like this for so many years. Qin Yun smiled and caressed Xiao Yuelon's face. You go back to the Shao heavenly sect, we will meet in the ancient garden city. Xiao Yuelon left. Qin Yun immediately entered the secret room. He wants to cultivate the divine universe heavenly bone in his arm as soon as possible. Chapter 30:17. Qin Yun didn't tell Xiao Yuelon about the destroyer. Xiao Yuelon also doesn't know about Malher's matter. There are a total of 180 billion divine universe golden stones in that mine. Qin Yun let Malher and Ling Yun count and was pleasantly surprised. This is a lot more than his previous estimate. Previously, he estimated it to be more than 100 billion, but now it is close to 200 billion. Great, great, it's enough for me to refine my entire arm into divine universe heavenly bone. Qin Yun is very excited. Time is tight, there are only 2 days left before they have to go to the ancient garden. After the magic mirror's formation base was closed, the entire divine desolate suddenly became blocked. After all, everyone is used to using the magic mirror to communicate with each other and obtain all kinds of information from the magic mirror. Now that it is suddenly gone, the entire divine desolate can be said to be in chaos. Qin Yun released the heavenly eye avatar from inside the house and saw many people jumping onto the roof and raising the magic mirror in their hands high. What's going on? Is the signal bad? Fuck, I was chatting with Xiao Mei and she was just about to take off her clothes. Bastard, I was using the magic mirror to ask people to help me buy things. So sad, today there are a few big sisters who want to show off. I took off my pants, I can't see it, I can't see it. When can it be used again? I want to hear the voice of a big sister, I want to date a big sister, damn it, I almost hit on her. A large group of people are cursing, they only feel that the end of the world is coming, life has reached the darkest moment. And Wukong is very obedient to Qin Yun. Qin Yun told him to close it. He immediately closed it, and then the entire clan withdrew into the four divine Sunday. Xiao Yuelon came to find Qin Yun this time. From her expression, it can be seen that the matter has reached a very serious stage. Although she did not say the specific situation, Qin Yun can feel it. The magic mirror is operated by An Wukong's alien void race. Now that it is being targeted by a powerful force, if they do not abandon it decisively, then the alien void race might be attacked and in the end, they will either be exterminated or controlled. Qin Yun closed his eyes and sensed the surrounding space. He released the power of Nether Sun in an attempt to distort the space, but found that the space has become a lot stronger than before. What shocked him the most is that the divine desolate space is still constantly strengthening. This kind of strengthening speed can be clearly felt. What's going on? After the seventh divine sun came out, the space had strengthened once. Why was it still strengthening now? Could it be that the eighth divine sun is about to appear? Qin Yun was alarmed and immediately asked the Grand Prime. Taisher asked Qin Yun to take out the Divine King Heavenly Seal. The Godly King Heavenly Seal was Grand Prime's true body. Releasing the godly king heavenly seal allowed him to sense it more clearly. The space is indeed getting stronger. It's too strange. Moreover, it's getting stronger very quickly. Clearly, a lot of energy is gathering in the divine desolate heavens to strengthen the space. Taishi didn't know what was going on. Without the magic mirror, I can't contact anyone, it's really troublesome. Qin Yun wants to contact Xian Shazi, law enforcement realm king and Tianrui. Fortunately, he had informed them beforehand and told them to be prepared. Back then, Qin Yun did not say anything to them. He only told them that something major was about to happen. Qin Yun, you currently have about 250 billion divine universe goldstones on hand, said Taishi. This should be enough to temper an arm into a divine universe heavenly bone, right? Qin Yun immediately began. It's enough, but I suggest you think of a way to borrow another 200 billion. Because no one knows what will happen next. You have to obtain a large amount of divine universe goldstones during this period of peace and temper the divine universe heavenly bone in your arms. Taishi said. Qin Yun understood what Taishi meant. During this period of time, if he borrowed it and something happened, it would take a long time for him to repay it. Qin Yun doesn't want to do this. Those who are willing to lend him so many divine universe goldstones are all very good friends. Qin Yun can do anything to his enemies, but he can't do the same to his friends. Although it's only borrowing, if a great change happens, the divine universe goldstones will be extremely important. I'll go to the ancient garden first. The elders of the heaven-opening ancient clan should know that something big is about to happen. If they are willing to lend it to me at that time, it means that it won't hurt them at all. Qin Yun said. Yes, then let's start refining the divine universe heavenly bone now. Taishi said. Qin Yun immediately began transferring the divine universe goldstones into the godly king heavenly seal. In 2 days, the Imperial Sky Battle Team will gather. Qin Yun wants to use 200 billion divine universe goldstones to temper the divine universe heavenly bone in his arm in 2 days. 100 billion divine universe goldstones is to awaken the divine universe heavenly bone, and the other 100 billion is to temper it. Qin Yun originally planned to keep the divine universe goldstones to deal with the changes in the heavens, because he can't let Malheur come out for a long time. There are many destroyers in the divine desolate. If Malheur comes out for a long time, it will be very dangerous. 2 days passed and Qin Yun's entire right arm has cultivated the divine universe heavenly bone. He is very envious of Xiao Yuelan and the other 9 sun divine daughters. With the help of the 9 sun-law spirit in their cultivation, they don't need to worry at all. But Qin Yun is different. In order to quickly refine the divine universe heavenly bone, he has to endure a great deal of pain. Qin Yun came out of the secret room. It is now morning. He left his residence and hurried to the Imperial Origin Sect Master's place. On the way, he saw many people holding the magic mirror with pained expressions. 2 days passed and everyone is still looking forward to using the magic mirror again. Qin Yun arrived at Imperial Origin Sect Master's residence but did not see him. However, there is an old man here. He is Imperial Origin Sect Master's old follower. He said that Imperial Origin Sect Master is in the teleportation hall. Qin Yun immediately rushed to the teleportation hall. When he arrived, he saw that Imperial Origin Sect Master's expression is very grave. Sect Master, what's wrong? Qin Yun hastily asked. The teleportation hall is very empty, there is no one here. The teleportation formation here can't be used. Imperial Origin Sect Master let out a long sigh and said, "A great upheaval is coming." Why is this happening? 2 days ago, Qin Yun discovered that the space is becoming stronger and stronger. I still don't know. If we want to go to the ancient Era's garden city, we can only fly to the 7th Divine Sunday. The ancient Era's garden city is inside the 7th Divine Sun. Imperial Origin Sect Master said, Take our flying ship there. Imperial Origin Sect Master is waiting for Qin Yun here. He saw that Qin Yun's condition is very good and relaxed a lot. Qin Yun followed behind Imperial Origin Sect. The two of them did not speak much along the way. A huge flying ship is floating above a large plaza of the Imperial Heaven Sect. Shao Qin, the Battle of the Ancient Era's Garden City, is very important. Imperial Origin Sect Master looked at the flying ship and patted Qin Yun's shoulder. I will wait for your triumphant return. I will definitely do my best to win. Qin Yun smiled and nodded. Imperial Origin Sect Master also smiled and nodded at Qin Yun to show his encouragement. Chapter 3018. Complete Version. Update the latest chapter of the Nine Sons Divine King as soon as possible. Qin Yun can feel that the atmosphere is not right. After he boarded the ship, he turned around and looked at the Imperial Heaven Gate. The ship is waiting for people to board. This time, there are more than 100 people going to the ancient Garden City. They are all elders and youngsters of the Yu Ancient clan and the Imperial Heaven Gate. Qin Yun entered the cabin and looked out the window. This is the first time he seriously looked at the Imperial Heaven Gate. The entire Imperial Heaven Gate's architectural style is very simple. It is made of stone, but it looks very imposing. Especially after being arranged, the buildings are very neatly arranged into a very visually impactful formation. The ship slowly flew up and Yu Yuan waved goodbye to Qin Yun. At this time, a fragrant wind blew over and someone patted Qin Yun's shoulder. Boss Qin, Yu Yaoyao said with a light smile. This red-haired, pink-eyed seductress wore tight-fitting white clothes. Although she was dressed for battle, it made her even more alluring. It outlined the beautiful contours of her body, and it didn't diminish her charm in the slightest. Yaoyao, long time no see. You have become much more beautiful, Qin Yun said with a smile. Yu Yaoyao crossed her arms in front of her chest to make herself look even more majestic and arrogant. She said with a smile, Boss Qin, long time no see. You are becoming more and more eloquent. Speaking of which, you are still very handsome. The more I look at you, the more I like you. I have always been this handsome, Qin Yun said with a laugh. You were just blind before and didn't realize it. Qin Yun, be serious. What do you think about this battle in the ancient Garden City? Yu Yaoyao asked with a stern expression. Clearly, Yu Yaoyao also knows that there will be a great upheaval. I don't know. The sect master told me that this battle is very important. Qin Yun can guess that this is a battle with outerverse beings. It is very likely to be a gambling match. I am at the 4th level of the Divine Space Realm and I am in the 2nd team of the Imperial Heaven Battle Team. The sect master said that you are at the 3rd level of the Divine Space Realm, but your Divine Space power exceeds the limit, so it is not a problem for you to join the 2nd team. Yu Yaoyao said. What about the other teammates? Qin Yun looked behind him and asked. Their strength should be okay. Anyone is fine. They're all warriors of the ancient Yu clan who have returned from the outerverse. It can be said that in the 2nd team, the two of us are probably the weakest. Yu Yaoyao combed her red hair and sighed. I should be the weakest one. This battle is very important. They shouldn't have sent us 2 weak chickens to fight, Qin Yun said with a frown. To tell you the truth, the Imperial Heaven Sect can only gather the 5 of us at the 4th tier of the Divine Space Realm. There are only 3 4th-tier Divine Space Realm cultivators who have returned from the outerverse, and they are all middle-aged men. They are our teammates, Imperial Yaoyao said. What? All middle-aged men? Where are the youngsters? Qin Yun was alarmed. Getting injured or dying is still a serious injury. Yu Yaoyao lowered his voice and looked around before saying, They were not injured in the Nine Sun Sacred Ground, so I suspect that they fought with something somewhere else. So many of the Yu clan warriors who had returned from the outerverse had either been heavily injured or killed. Qin Yun is somewhat worried for Xiao Yuelon, Xiao Yuemei and Yu Shangyun. They are also representing their sections. He let out a long sigh and said, "Seems like it will be a bitter battle. Qin Yun, you should be more well-informed than me. Can you tell me what we are going to face in that ancient garden city?" Yu Yaoyao said very seriously, "I have to be mentally prepared, those old fellows won't say anything. People from the outerverse, but not like the Nine Sun sacred ground. This is only my guess." Qin Yun said in low voice, "Yao Yao, don't worry, in the ancient garden city, we should be a lot safer." Yu Yaoyao said, "The clan sent me to fight, it should be because they recognize my strength. To be honest, I have never fought with my life on the line, it seems like this time I will have to fight with my life on the line." Qin Yun said with a smile, "I have a lot of experience in fighting with my life on the line, it is a common thing for me." Yu Yaoyao only faintly smiled, her smile is somewhat forced, it is clear that she is afraid. "Are you really afraid?" Qin Yun said with a smile. "Afraid, I am really afraid. Because I have seen several clan members who were seriously injured, they were all young people, when I saw them, their bodies were not complete and they were all in great pain." Yu Yaoyao nodded. Qin Yun stopped smiling, then took out 2 talismans and handed them to Yu Yaoyao. After Yu Yaoyao received it, she is secretly astonished. It is actually the Imperial Heavenly Talisman. This kind of Imperial Heavenly Talisman has Qin Yun's unique energy aura. It means that it was made by Qin Yun himself. "Keep it to protect yourself," Qin Yun said. "Many thanks." Yu Yaoyao sighed and said, "You should not have fought. You are an inscription master, moreover, you have grasped the initial stage of my family's Imperial Heavenly Talisman. That means that this battle is very important, otherwise the sect master would not have let me fight." Qin Yun said with a smile, "Although I don't like fighting, it doesn't mean that I can't fight." Yu Yaoyao naturally knows that Qin Yun is very good at fighting, and he fights without any regard for his life. The speed of the flying ship is very fast. In just a day, it entered the interior of the 7th Divine Sun and arrived at the ancient garden city inside. Qin Yun had already been here once before, it was not completely constructed back then. And now that he is here again, he is shocked. Last time, there were many empty areas in the ancient garden city, there were no buildings at all. And now, in those empty areas, there are many huge buildings rising from the ground. The style of these huge buildings are all different, it means that they were built by people from different places. There must be people from other universe living in the ancient garden city, moreover, they are people from several outerverse. Ancient Yu Clan's ship landed in a very large plaza, there are more than 10 large and small ships in the vicinity. When Qin Yun got off the boat, he saw more than 10 elders of the ancient Yu Clan walking over with solemn expressions. One of them was a white-haired man dressed in red. He looked very young, but his hair and eyebrows had turned white. He was the only person in the ancient Yu Clan who could control all the Yu Clan's heavenly talismans, Xiao Qihong. "Qin Yun, follow me!" After Xiao Qihong saw Qin Yun, without saying anything, he directly released a white jade-like small building. Xiao Qihong clearly has a very important matter to discuss with Qin Yun. The other elders did not say anything, instead they walked towards the other youngsters and asked about their current situation. Qin Yun followed Xiao Qihong into the white jade small building. Xiao Qihong took out several large booklets, they look like several thick and heavy jade doors, and placed them on the ground. "The Imperial Heavenly Talismans are all here, take them." Xiao Qihong placed his hand on Qin Yun's shoulder and said solemnly, "If I die, you will be responsible for inheriting the Imperial Heavenly Talismans." "Master, what happened?" Qin Yun's expression changed, he hastily asked. Even a big shot like Xiao Qihong is prepared to face death, Qin Yun began to panic. Chapter 30-19. Seeing Qin Yun's reaction, Xiao Qihong promptly waved his hand and said, It's not as serious as you think, I'm just taking precautions. You can make 1-star Imperial Heavenly Talisman by yourself. That means you can learn all the Imperial Heavenly Talismans. Master, what exactly is going to happen? What are our battle squads doing? Qin Yun was very puzzled along the way. You want to fight with the aliens, Nine Yang Law Spirit will help us get in contact with the other humans from the outerverse. But they are very arrogant and look down on us, unless we can defeat them, Xiao Qihong said. How strong are they? Qin Yun asked in astonishment. In their universe, they are considered as upper-middle-class humans. Moreover, there is no level restriction in their universe. Xiao Qihong sighed and said, it wasn't easy for them to gather 2nd, 4th and 6th level Divine Space Realm battle squads. What do you mean? It wasn't easy for them to gather? Although Qin Yun knew the reason, he still couldn't believe it. Yes, there are very few of them because after they are born, most of them are 6th or 7th level Divine Space Realm. Xiao Qihong said. Only a few trash are born 1st level Divine Space Realm, and it is very difficult for them to cultivate. Qin Yun is completely dumbfounded. They are born as Divine Space Realm cultivators, and they are actually considered trash. Then why don't they let 7th, 8th, and 9th level Divine Space Realm battle squads? Qin Yun curled his lips and said, you think they don't? There are 2 8th and 9th level battle squads, but the battlefield is not in the ancient garden city. Xiao Qihong said, they have already fought and we lost miserably. What happens after we win? Qin Yun is very curious. This kind of battle is definitely very important. After all, they want to prove their potential to the outerverse. Xiao Qihong said, don't expect to win, they just want to see our potential. Even if we lose, they will give us some help and let us surpass levels. No wonder Yu Yuan said this competition is very important, so it is because of this reason. The aliens are very powerful and there is no restriction in their universe, that means their universe is very big. Why doesn't their universe restrict them from surpassing levels? Is it because their universe is bigger and has more resources? Qin Yun said with a frown. Then, can't we just go to their universe? Xiao Qihong shook his head and said, no, we can only grow in this universe. There will be great restrictions if we go to other universes. Xiao Qihong had returned from the outerverse, but the universe he had gone to was filled with extremely vicious and cruel creatures. It's not that we don't have enough resources in the universe, but the humans at the top want to enjoy the largest resources in the universe and maintain their sense of superiority. Xiao Qihong said, this is greed. After all, they are the first batch to cross levels. As long as they can suppress the middle and lower levels, they will always be at the peak. Qin Yun secretly clenched his fists and cursed in a low voice. In that case, those guys are very hateful. Xiao Qihong nodded and said, our heaven-splitting ancient clan didn't know before, so we helped them do many wrong things. Now we have to correct it, and the Nine Yang Law Spirit will also help us charge forward. How many outerverse paths lead to this place? How can they help us? Qin Yun asked. There are a total of 3 outerverse that are connected to this place. They can provide us with even more cultivation methods, allowing us to grow faster. The Nine Yang Law Spirit also allowed them to enter the Nine Sun Holy Land and obtain Divine Universe Golden Stones. They also need Divine Universe Golden Stones. Xiao Qihong said. The Divine Universe Golden Stones in this Divine Desolate are very abundant even for other universes. Because in all the universes, there have never been multiple Super Divine Suns. As long as the Super Divine Sun can be maintained and not destroyed, the number of Divine Universe Golden Stones produced would be even more. The Outerverse also want to obtain a large amount of Divine Universe Golden Stones from Divine Desolate, but they are not very willing to help the humans of Divine Desolate. Can't those Outerverse just directly help us? Why do they still want to fight us? Qin Yun is very unhappy. Because they are only helping us to appease the 9 Yang Law Spirit. If we want their real help, we have to show them our strength, Xiao Qihong said. The main reason why the outer verse came is because of the divine universe golden stones. They said that they are willing to communicate with the humans of Divine Desolate, but they simply look down on the people of Divine Desolate. Master, is there going to be a huge change in Divine Desolate? Qin Yun only knows, but he doesn't know the specifics. Yes, the people at the top of this universe also want to eat the fat meat that is Divine Desolate. They want to start a blockade on Divine Desolate. In order to suppress the native life forms, they will allow other middle-level people to join in. Xiao Qihong said. What? Other middle-level people will join in? This. Why? Then how can our Divine Desolate's life forms defeat them? Qin Yun is very angry. If they let the middle-level people join in, then they won't say anything, otherwise they will also rebel against the top. Moreover, when the middle-level people enter Divine Desolate, they will definitely become the dogs of the top and help them obtain Divine Universe Golden Stones. Xiao Qihong's expression is calm, but he is also very angry. Qin Yun tightly clenched his fist. Divine Desolate belongs to them, but now it is being ravaged by many foreign robbers. The native life forms will definitely be massacred, and he can't do anything about it. Could it be that the 9 Yang Law Spirit has no way? Qin Yun said while clenching his teeth. It can be said that Qin Yun watched this land grow up. He has very deep feelings for this land. That's why the 9 Yang Law Spirit brought in a few outer-verse people and let them join in to balance the middle and upper-level powers of this universe. Those middle and upper-level bastards only know how to destroy, they don't know how to create. And the 9 Yang Law Spirit is the creator. He created the great Divine Desolate and they want to take it for themselves. Xiao Qihong said. They don't know how to create, they only know how to destroy. Qin Yun thought of the group of destroyers. He thought of the descendants of Divine Sun. The descendants of Divine Sun destroyed the Super Divine Sunday. For countless years, it is unknown how many Divine Suns have been destroyed by them. That's why the heaven-opening ancient race has committed a great sin. They became the dogs of the middle and upper-level powers. Of course, if they don't do this kind of thing, there will definitely be others to do it. Divine Desolate space suddenly strengthened. Is it affected by external forces? Qin Yun asked. That's right. It's mainly because those fellows want to restrict the flow of all kinds of information and space travel. This way, they can prevent the Divine Desolate's resources from flowing quickly and make it easier for them to control it. Xiao Qihong nodded. The 9 Yang Law Spirit definitely knew about this, so it made preparations in advance. Next, there is no longer the matter of the native life forms of Divine Desolate. It is all the middle and upper-level people from the outside who will fight against the outerverse people. Chapter 30:20. The 9 Yang Dharma Spirit had created the Divine Wasteland, but now it had become a place for other experts to compete for resources. The native creatures of the Divine Wasteland would definitely be affected. If they could survive and grow up, they might be able to surpass the level limit. Qin Yun thought of the destroyer he had encountered before. He did not allow the cat-eared man to snatch the Divine Universe Golden Stones, so he killed the cat-eared man but did not kill him. At that time, he had a good impression of the destroyer. But now it seemed that the destroyer did not want the middle-level people to steal the Divine Universe Golden Stones. The reason why the destroyer did not kill him or take away the Divine Universe Golden Stones was most likely due to some kind of restriction. Master, is the 9 Yang Dharma Spirit really going to let them do whatever they want in the Divine Wasteland? Qin Yun was very unwilling to accept this. The 9 Yang Dharma Spirit said that it would temporarily restrict living beings above the 9th level of the Divine Universe realm from entering the Divine Wasteland. If the higher-ups do not agree, then the 9 Yang Dharma spirit will perish together with them. Xiao Qihong said. This made Qin Yun feel a lot more at ease. At least in this way, the gap would not be too big in a short period of time, because the heaven-splitting ancient clan also had experts at the 9th level of the Divine Universe realm. In other words, if one wanted to enter the Divine Wasteland, even if they came from the middle and upper levels, they could not exceed the 9th level of the Divine Universe realm. Qin Yun told Xiao Qihong about the destroyer, but he did not tell him about Malheur. Those destroyers must have surpassed the 9th level of the Divine Universe realm. The 9 Yang Dharma spirit told us not to provoke those destroyers, and the destroyer cannot kill living beings in the Divine Wasteland. The destroyer has a very important mission in the Divine Wasteland. Xiao Qihong said. The destroyer's important mission in the Divine Wasteland was to find Malheur. Malheur was so important, so the reason she was targeted by the destroyer was definitely not because she could quickly find the Divine Universe golden stones. Then what could it be? Could Malheur increase her mental strength by 10 times? Or was there another reason? Malheur's hometown was only a world of middle-level living beings. Malheur's strength was not particularly strong, definitely not exceeding the 9th level of the Divine Universe realm. How could she be targeted by the destroyer? Little Qin, I hope you don't hold back during the battle and use all your strength. According to my contact with those aliens, they worship the strong. Because I have the Yu clan's heavenly talisman, they don't dare to look down on me. As for the other 9th level Divine Space Realm experts, they don't put them in their eyes. Xiao Qihong patted Qin Yun's shoulder. He knew that Qin Yun must be hiding a very strong strength, but because he did not want others to know, he was. I know. Qin Yun nodded. All right, as long as a few of us can win in this competition, they will more or less change their attitude. Xiao Qihong said. Qin Yun and Xiao Qihong came out of the White Jade small building. Yu Yaoyao is still outside. After she saw Xiao Qihong, she immediately saluted him. You clan Yang clan's clan master. Although he clan. He clan. The Yu ancient clan did not have a clan ruler now. All the leaders of the heaven-splitting ancient clan were called clan heads. They did not dare to call themselves clan masters because they knew that whether in this cosmos or the outerverse, they were the lowest level living beings. Qin Yun and Yu Yaoyao followed the elders of the Yu ancient clan and entered a very tall restaurant. They came to a hall for a meeting. Team 1 of Yu clan's members were all 6th level Divine Universe realm expert. They were all old and full of murderous aura. They were veterans of hundreds of battles in the outerverse. In Team 2, only Qin Yun and Emperor Yu Yao were young. The others were all middle-aged. One of them was an old man, the other 2 were middle-aged. Team 1 of Yu clan's members were all 2nd level Divine Universe realm expert. They were also middle-aged. Although they could not increase their strength quickly, they had rich battle experience. They all trained in the outerverse. Qin Yun finally knew why Emperor Yu Yao was under so much pressure. She was the only young girl here and her foundation was very weak. Those outsiders promised us that they won't kill us, so everyone can rest assured. They are very arrogant and think that we are not worthy of being killed. Don't be in a hurry to win. What you need to show is your potential. In short, don't let them defeat you easily. An elder in the hall said to the participating team members. Could it be that we can't win? An old man from Team 1 asked with some dissatisfaction. Our clan sent a few teams to fight, but no one could defeat them. Total defeat, total defeat. The clan elder sighed. This is the gap between us. You should know that the ones we defeated were trash that they found with great difficulty. What does that mean? Trash that they found with great difficulty? Then they definitely did not have many trash. After they were born, they would be good in all aspects and could quickly grow and surpass the Divine Universe realm. This was equivalent to a student at the bottom of a top student class suddenly going to a slacker class to dominate. Qin Yun was very puzzled. He believed that an environment that could nurture powerhouses must be better than the divine wilderness. But why did they need the resources of the divine wilderness? That meant that the beings of the divine wilderness had great potential, but it was suppressed. Otherwise, the beings born in the divine wilderness would not be any weaker than those of the outerverse. In what way are they strong? Is it their mortal bodies or their mental strength? Qin Yun asked. Do they have many divine universe heavenly bones? Or perhaps they have already cultivated a divine space of the soul and have a certain amount of mental strength. Several old men looked at Qin Yun and nodded. They recognized Qin Yun and knew that he was Xiao Qihong's apprentice. That's right. They have at least several large-scale divine universe heavenly bones and their mental strength is around 50. The elder said. Many people at the scene immediately let out a low cry of terror. Several large divine universe heavenly bones and mental strength of 50. How could they fight this? Divine universe heavenly bones and mental strength were at least at the 7th level of the divine universe realm. So they are very strong. And this battle will let you understand their strength ahead of time. The elder said. Qin Yun had only tempered the divine universe heavenly bone in one arm and only had one large part, but his mental strength was at 100. Luckily, he had listened to Taisher. Taisher telling him to first cultivate the divine universe heavenly bone was the right thing to do. Otherwise, if his mortal body was too weak, it would have been destroyed from the start. If, and I am saying if, you can really defeat them, then they will give you rewards and we will also reward you. The elder said. It seemed that he didn't expect anyone to win. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.